He's described as 5'5", 160 pounds, with short black hair, brown eyes, and scars in the back of his neck and on his chest. He has Aztec-style tattoos on both legs. He was seen wearing a white shirt, blue jeans. Kern County is getting nearly $3.5 million to go getting sexually transmitted diseases. That's from the California Department of Public Health. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think, this is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get a post like this. Bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when we make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
And it's Boretsky. Now Jack Hughes puts it around the park. United States with numbers. Got the toss and punt. Jack Hughes wins it. The golden goal for the United States. For the first time since the 1980 miracle, the United States takes the ball. Jack Hughes beating Jordan Bennington. Do you believe in miracles? 6 years. The USA wins gold in both women's and men's hockey. And the men's hockey team headed to the White House tomorrow. They're down in Miami because of the blizzard. We'll get into that in just a second. It's a Monday, so Dr. Jeet Singh will join us bottom of the hour, along with Kathy Abernathy at 4. We'll get into Gavin Newsom's racist comment at a function in Atlanta, of all places. And on the eve of the State of the Union is not good for Donald Trump. A CNN poll has his numbers down in the 30s, and disapproval in the direction of the country almost at 70%. We'll delve into that a little bit. And our Black History Month moment will focus on Blake Bolden in the wake of the women's hockey team winning gold. Blake Bolden, African-American woman hockey player, and is a scout for Los Angeles Kings.
Interesting.
I was going to say, I know y'all.
I didn't know that.
I had never heard of one before in my life.
To be fair, I just learned we have a professional hockey women's league. So
I'm trying to do some investigating to see if she is the daughter of my next door neighbor my freshman year at Morehouse College, Al Bolden, who went on to become the DA of New Orleans and is a Morehouse man. Look up Al Bolden and see a daughter named Blake. Or see Blake and see if her dad is. Yeah, if they do. But just curious if it's a possibility. And Pat Riley finally gets a statue. He is flanked by none other than Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and it is long overdue. The idea that Shaq got a statue before Pat Riley is kind of crazy. But we begin, obviously, with the Olympics, and our question of the day is, what was your favorite moment? What was the highlight for you? I haven't even made up my mind. I wrote down a bunch of options. I always start with Chloe Kim. I have a little crushy crush on Chloe Kim. I don't know if it's because she's dating a brother. She's dating Myles Garrett. See the gift he got her? He got her a pink, like, old school Ford Bronco that she always wanted.
Nice.
Like a 2000, but it's brand new.
But the amount of money that boy makes.
Exactly. He can get her whatever he wanted. It's kind of cool. She's a great story, winning a medal in her third straight Olympics, getting the silver. And you say, well, Ralph, why are you celebrating a girl who won silver? Because she wasn't even supposed to participate. She hurt her shoulder about 2 weeks before she was supposed to get ready for the Olympics and didn't even know if she was going to go to Milan. And just kind of, she was talking on the Today Show this morning, and she was talking about how, normally she's snowboarding every single day. She said she got like 8 reps in before she even tried in the Olympics. So she's a great story. Rick Rohonen, Ruohonen. He's an attorney from Minnesota. He became the oldest U.S. Winter Olympian. How old do you think he was, Chris?
45?
54.
Ooh, wow.
That's what I'm saying. He won in the, I don't know what he won in, but he's the oldest U.S. Winter Olympian. There's Jordan Stoltz, who won 2 golds in speed skating. I mean, there are just so many great stories. Lindsey, we've got some audio of Lindsey Vonn. We'll play that a little bit later because it's really, really long, but she breaks down how, and this is the sports news story of the day, she claims that a physician in Italy saved her leg, that they had to literally fillet her leg from both sides to open it up. Did you hear the package?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly. And she almost lost her leg. And after now 4 operations, she still has 1 more to go. Another operation to go through. But she's back on American soil. That's a great story. I mean, there are just so many incredible stories. The 40-somethings, Elena Myers-Taylor and Kayla Humphreys, winning in their 40s. Mexico's mother and son team that won in skiing. She was in her 40s. I mean, there are just so many really cool stories.
The 54-year-old played curling, by the way.
Oh. Well, I don't even say. Why curling on every time I turned on the Olympics? From like the beginning to the end. I know the hockey game was the last event, but curling was on Saturday. It was on like the open. Why is curling such a big sport?
I have no idea. All I know is that apparently Canada cheated. That's what I keep hearing, is that there was some illegal touching of the puck or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I heard that too.
I could not tell you, though.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. What are some other great stories? By the way, the men are going to the State of the Union, but the women are not. And we'll get into that in just a second after the break, because I have to talk about Kash Patel, our FBI director, who was seen partying with the hockey team in Milan, despite the fact that Nancy Guthrie is missing. A man was shot at the president's house, and Americans are locked in their hotel rooms in Mexico, fearing death from the cartel. But that's okay, because our head law enforcement agent is partying with 20-year-olds in Milan. I'll get to that in just a second. Let me keep the vibe up while I'm still on. There's another great story is, well, it's not a great story, but it has kind of a happy ending. The brothers Goudreau, Matthew and Johnny, killed in a biking accident. They were supposed to be on the men's hockey team, and the family wasn't going to go. They really didn't want to go, and at the last minute, the team talked them into going and said, this is what your brothers would have wanted. And they went and they took their children. They took the brother Johnny's children, and you might have seen some children on the ice at the end of the men's hockey game. Was Johnny, one of the brothers who died, his 2 kids, and they brought out their jerseys as they took the team picture after the win. And the family was incredibly grateful and as joyful as they could be in the wake of their brother's death. And Jack Hughes, and really the guy that's not getting the credit that I think he deserves is the goalie, Austin Matthews, who made saves I've never seen before.
You mean Hallebuck?
It's not Matthews?
Connor Hallebuck.
Okay, the goalie. Making saves I had never seen before, where he's completely beaten and somehow gets his stick behind him to save an empty net. They had empty net shots 3 different times, and somehow he came up with the saves to bring it back. But this is going to go down. Their victory is going to go down as, as memorable as, some of the most iconic moments in Olympic history. Obviously, 1980 and Al Michaels' call, "Do you believe in miracles?" Yes. I mean, I remember exactly where I was. It wasn't shown live, so we had to watch it live recorded the next day. But I was a senior in high school, and the night that they won, I was meeting my friends just to hang out, and we all got out of our cars, jumping up and down, hugging, just amongst the four of us. Had hockey. We tried to play. We had a street hockey team for a little bit, but none of us knew anything about hockey. But it was an American moment, just like this was. And just like the Ali moment, 96, when Ali got handed the torch to open up the ceremony in Atlanta, I believe. Yeah, it was Atlanta. I think we'll all remember where we were when we watched it. Did you get up in the morning and watch it? I know I did.
I recorded it and watched it later on in the morning, but I didn't get up at 5.
It saved my weekend because Saturday was traumatic for me.
Why? What happened?
Shut up. Chris knows exactly what happened. The Zucchini Bailey team went down to Conejo Mills for the very first time, and in a big way. It was windy, and it was just, we're still where they were during the BC Open at Bakersfield Country Club. And I set a record.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, set a record. Shot 54 on the back. I mean, that is like comical. Saying that out loud just made me laugh. A 54. 54 on the back. I mean, everybody played badly. Zucchini didn't break 90, which is unheard of. Alan Corneo had the low score, like 93.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was windy. Everybody's thinking of the weekend of yesterday. It was beautiful and gorgeous. But Saturday, it was windy as hell. At least in the Northeast, it was. And, my little 215-yard drives in the wind go about 2 bills. So now instead of 180, I got 2 bills coming into a par 4. And the other factor, that I 4-putted on one of the greens. I 4-putted. Like literally a 10-year-old could 4-putt. Literally. And I took me 4. And as JR, as I was telling the story, mentioned, and it was a par 4. And I took 4 just to, hockey it around on I was playing hockey is what I was doing. I was emulating the team, and I was just kind of maneuvering it, taking shots, and 4 off on the green, not on the hole. Birdie putt made 6. Ralph Bailey, ladies and gentlemen. Had it not been for the hockey team, let's go. If it had not been for the hockey team, I was going to go pound balls Sunday. And then I got into the hockey game, and I was like, they were trailing, because I DVR'd it too. And they were trailing, and I was almost like, let me get out of here. Let me go bang some balls. God. On 12, I hit it in the water again.
Oh, Lord.
But the creek separates the fairway from a little island, and the creek is bedrock. They're big rocks that surround the creek. So I hit the rock and landed on the island.
Oh, nice.
So I think I'm in my pocket. I think I'm about to drop, and I'm like, oh, not only am I on the island, but I only have 112 yards, but I have to carry the water. It's 112 to the pin, so it was probably 90 yards to carry the water. Just put it in the bunker, Ralph. Where did I put it?
Back in the water?
Yeah. Not back in the water. I was never in the water. I hit the rocks.
Sorry. I thought you hit the water first.
No, I hit the rocks and landed on land, and I put it in the water. Quick timeout. I'm going in on Cash Patel. Not because he was pounding beers as the top law enforcement agent, but he's spending my money, and I don't like it. We'll talk about that next. And Jeet Singh at the bottom of the hour. Kathy Abernathy, I believe Kathy told me she went to the Democratic Convention this weekend where Eric Swalwell could not get the endorsement of the Democratic Party, which is a very significant sign for Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco. Quick timeout. We're just getting started on a Monday. Final week in February, at least for the broadcast. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Monday on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com. 4.
News Talk 96.1.
Messmaker.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
So I'm not defending this woman. Yes, her attitude probably stinks. Well, she's from Bakersfield. 2, she's got to put up with dumb people calling 911 because, well, she's from Bakersfield. Which leads me to my other question. Expecting somebody's going to actually show up to your 911 call. Let's just be real.
The JR Show. Yeah.
Hope you're with us on Thursday when our money man, Petrie from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors joins us. As you know, Daniel joins us every Thursday at 4:30. But most importantly, Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors are all about retirement. And if you're like me and it's staring you dead in the mug, it's time you get on the phone and call Daniel at 395-9400, 395-9400. As I've talked about, I've turned at least 2 people on to Messmaker Petrie Wealth Advisors who could not be happier. You heard Chris Orr call the broadcast and talk how happy he was with his deal with them, his portfolio. That's why you need to call him today at 395-9400, 395-9400, or tune in on Thursdays when Daniel joins us live at 4:30. Daniel Petrie and the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only. Does not constitute a solicitation or offer to buy or sell any security, future option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other services to any person in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Inc., DBA Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this broadcast by us are prepared based upon the information available to us at the time, and we are under no obligation to update our views.
Jackson Hewitt handles your taxes and your stress. Inhale on no surprise price of $149 or less. Exhale, paying more for complicated taxes. You won't. Inhale, new tax law knowledge.
Oh, now you
Out on your biggest refund? Certainly not. Don't miss paying
wonder what
$149 or less. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited
And
time
look,
offer for
look
new
at,
clients
like,
and withdrawal terms.
it,
Participating
like,
locations only.
moves.
Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Linda.
What's
try
up
to
with that?
lose weight.
Electrical flow.
So
The
why
little
is
light
it
bulb
different?
looks like if you point like one of these at a camera, you'll see the same thing. It's just the electricity flowing through it. Oh, it does. It's been doing that. I don't know why the color's showing. That's the cool thing, though. But no, it looks good.
A time to plant some flowers, cut the grass.
Drag racing fans, forget the honeydews because it's back and it's Nitro time! The Good Vibrations Motorsports March Speed returns to Famoso Drag Strip in Bakersfield, March 5th through the 8th. 4 big days of nitro burning funny cars, dragsters, and those insane ground-pounding fuel motors. Experience quarter-mile drags like it used to be. Check out the car show, swap meet, and the manufacturer's midway. The fuel sensation and Saddle Nitro all weekend long. See the champions crowd on Championship Sunday. Tickets at the gate.com. Kids 15 and under are free with a paid adult. The Good Vibrations Motorsports March Meet at Famoso Track Strip, March 5th through the 8th. Smell the Nitro!
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Once again, I forgot the music.
I'm just gonna say this thing don't exist.
I have a whole new list. Oh, hold on, regardless of who it is. Exactly. Thank you, Lily. I'm about to get into that. The Kern Radio Studios are powered by Adaptive Networks. And don't ask me why you all, despite my bat, can see the Adaptive Network sign so much better now. The color is vivid. You can see the colors. Before it was kind of black and white. No explanation as to why the color is suddenly popping up on,
I have no idea.
on
That's
YouTube.
new.
See that right there? It's the Adaptive Network.
Like, obviously, it may have something to do with just the shadow, but at this point, I'm not 100% sure.
I have no idea, but I like it because it's a really cool sign that Jennifer Van Alstyne, owner operator, brought over here for us. It's really kind of cool. A couple of negative things about the Olympics. As I mentioned, the men are going to the State of the Union tomorrow, the women opted not, claiming scheduling and other commitments. And they do have a season that's about to get back underway. But you don't say no to the president. I don't care if his approval ratings are in the teens. I don't care if he deserves to be impeached and should resign. I don't care if it's Richard Nixon. I don't care if it's Herbert Hoover. I don't care if it's James Buchanan, Jimmy Carter. I'm naming some of the worst presidents in history. James Buchanan caused the damn Civil War. Herbert Hoover caused the damn Depression. Jimmy Carter, name what he caused, the Iranian crisis, name it. But you don't say no to the president. You just don't. I said that the last 2 years, the Dodgers have won the championship because Dave Roberts didn't go either in 20 when we won in that strike shortened season, or when he was with the Red Sox. One of the two, I can't which, but he didn't go. Well, it couldn't have been. No, it couldn't have been in Boston.
No,
So it had to have been
when he
20.
was-
Yeah, because it was Trump. So it had to have been then. And I bagged on the Dodgers because the Dodgers almost didn't go last year. And I was like, no. You go. It doesn't matter who the president is. You go. But I do have a problem with Kash Patel. And I know it's become partisan. The Republicans are defending him. The Democrats are chastising him. But here's my problem with Kash Patel.
This is odd. Minimum. And I'm not saying take all their funding. I'm not the defund everything guy. I'm just saying Chris Ray doesn't need a government-funded G5 jet to go to vacation.
Okay.
Maybe we ground that.
Okay. All right. Okay. And you say, well, Ralph, he was in Milan doing business. Really? Really? Okay. And that's not my problem. That's not my problem. The fact that he was chugging beers with 20-year-olds when Nancy Guthrie's missing, when Mar-a-Lago's attacked, and folks are down in Mexico fearing for their lives, Americans, that's not my problem. My problem is the history of Kash Patel. First of all, as you all well know, I think he's a joke. Never was an FBI agent. I don't know too many people, maybe Kathy at 4 o'clock, who think this guy's competent, but even Republicans very secretly and quietly realize this guy is incompetent. He's completely incompetent, and he's taking advantage of the position. Back in April of 24, I believe, he took Wayne Gretzky on our government plane to a hockey game at Madison Square Garden. A week later, he took our government plane on my dime to a UFC fight in Miami. In December, he took his country singer girlfriend, apparently, I don't know who this woman is, but apparently his girlfriend's a country singer. He took her to 3 of her concerts on my dime. He went to Vegas 9 times. That's more times than I go to Vegas. And I'm a degenerate gambler. And our head of the FBI is going to Vegas 9 times. He's going to Milan. And did you see the video? It's just a bad optics. They just don't give a damn. They just don't. He's chugging beers. He's slamming his hand on the desk. He's all crazed up. And you know what the Republicans came back with? Walter Mondale was in the locker room when we won in 80. Really? That's what the vice president does. The FBI director doesn't go to funerals. The only thing that the vice president does, other than break ties in the Senate, is go to stuff like that. That's what the vice president's supposed to do. He represents us. When the president doesn't want to go to a funeral, he sends a vice president. When there's an event going on, the president can't go. Just the look, you send the vice president. But our top law enforcement agent, the head of the FBI, I just saw J. Edgar Hoover dancing in his teddy with the 1941 Chicago Bears or something. What's going on? By the way, did you get the? Never mind. The J. Edgar Hoover joke. Never mind. I just don't understand it. I really don't. I mean, if this were a first offense, okay, no big deal. Vegas 9 times, a hockey Wayne Gretzky, and a week later, a UFC fight. You know how much that costs? It's like $100,000 every time he takes to the air. They say it's $5,000 an hour flight time. What's that to Milan? It's crazy. This kooky cabinet is going to be our undoing in the midterms. Quick time out. It's a Monday. We'll talk about estrogen. Ladies, menopause is a real thing, huh? I'm kidding. We're going to talk about that with Dr. Jeet Singh next. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
News. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Severe winter weather across the northeastern United States, a partial government shutdown, and security concerns in parts of western Mexico converged to make a challenging day for air travel. Thousands of U.S. flights were canceled or delayed on the East Coast as a powerful snowstorm upended daily routines in Boston, New York, Philadelphia, and other major cities. At least 73 people died in Mexico's attempt leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel and the violent aftermath of his death. That's according to authorities who spoke Monday as much of the country feared another wave of violence. The body count taken by security officials included security forces, suspected cartel members, and others. More details available at slnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, you're live on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
The man died at the hospital last night after he was hit by a truck and a car on Baker Street downtown. Bakersfield PD says that 20, they have not publicly ID'd the man yet, and they do not believe anyone involved was impaired. The Army National Guard recruiter in trouble for sex with an underage girl exchanged nudes on Instagram with her, say court documents released Monday, reports KGET. Jacob Robles has pleaded not guilty and is due back in court March 4th. The city of Bakersfield says the Kern River multi-use trail will be closed from today through April 19th due to construction on nearby retention basins. The closure will be on the Stockdale Ranch extension. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180. KERN.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Carpet Outlet Plus is celebrating 30 years in business by offering you no interest financing for 12 months. Head over to carpetoutletplus.com to apply now. You can get new waterproof flooring and comfy carpet in the bedrooms, all from one trusted place. Over 70,000 customers can't be wrong. It's probably been time to change your floors for a while, so call, click, or stop by today. Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Hey, right. First Look with Scott Cox.
In the First Look program, we'll talk snowpack and other water-related issues. That's Lois Henry. We got the craziness down Mexico way and a killer storm in the Northeast. There's a lot going on. We'll get into all that news, traffic, and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Doctor, give me the news. I gotta.
It's Monday, so we're off to Centric Health, the technologist in the land, our good friend, Dr. Jeet Singh. How are you, Dr. J?
I'm good. How are you, Ralph?
I'm outstanding. Well, not really. I'll get to that at the end. We'll talk about me at the end, but that's a whole other topic. What I love about talking with you, Dr. J, is I rarely stay within your field, and today is no different. I'm going to throw you a big curveball because we're going to talk about women a little bit. And one of the big stories that I keep seeing, I've been avoiding the story, but it's this estrogen patches. and the lack thereof and how it's impacting women with menopause. And, you know, a guy my age, I'm dating women who are in their 50s. If I'm lucky, maybe in their 40s. But I've heard this a lot from different women that you have no idea, Ralph. I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm wet from sweating. My hair is wet. I have flashes, boop, the bop, the bip. Let's talk about menopause and what is it and why does it drive women crazy at middle age?
So what happens is with menopause, you have estrogen, progesterone, two important hormonal deficiencies which occur. Okay, so there are various forms, and there has been initially controversy of hormone replacement therapy with the risk of breast cancer and other cancers associated with it. So people have always come with that kind of a family history of breast cancers and what should they do for hormone replacement therapy. Okay. So when you discuss about the estrogen patches, one thing has to be very clear whether progesterone is also being used or it's not being used. Okay. And that depends upon a woman still have their uterus or they don't. So if you go for, let's say a patient has a hysterectomy, an early menopause that was induced by a surgery, then estrogen, if they do not have a uterus, then they can take estrogen alone. She can take estrogen alone.
Okay.
Now, then the controversy comes is, what about the breast cancer risk? So estrogen only therapy does not increase breast cancer risk. That's a very important information to know. And there are some controversial data that it showed a slight reduction in breast cancer incidence. Now that can be controversial, but one thing is for sure, it does not increase breast cancer risk.
So go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And if a woman has a uterus, then progesterone is added to prevent uterine cancer. So it all depends upon what kind of menopause we are talking to the patient, whether they have hysterectomy done, what is known as removal of the uterus, or they have partial hysterectomy, that means partial removal of the uterus, or it's a general natural menopause that a woman goes through.
Yeah.
Okay.
What go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Keep interrupting.
If you talk about the combined therapy, then yes, it does increase the breast cancer risk slightly. And if you talk about what is the risk, if you look at the duration, the risk increases after roughly like 3 to 5 years of continuous use. Okay.
Okay. How long do women suffer with this menopause and the
it's like a lifelong thing. I have ladies coming at the age of 65 to 68, and they get confused with their family history of heart disease, whether their sweating episodes are they related to the heart or they are related to an hormonal deficiency.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's what I want to transition into because I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Jennifer Ashton. She's kind of a celebrity doctor. She's on Oz and she's on Fox a lot. She's on The View a lot. She married Tom Warner, who's one of the owners of the Boston Red Sox. And they just put in $1 million to connect. She wants to create a connection between OBGYNs and cardiologists. And through this menopause situation, she stumbled upon the idea that, as you alluded to, that women are getting misdiagnosed many times when they have heart disease. And she was saying that their symptoms, women's symptoms of heart disease, many times manifests itself as like flu-like situations where they're hot, they're short of breath. And she claims that many times it gets misdiagnosed or it's a delayed diagnosis. Is what she's saying accurate? And how do we change this?
Well, so usually the recommendations that are being given is that if you hit a menopause, you should within the 10 years or before the age of 60 get on estrogen patches, which help with symptoms of like mood changes, vaginal dryness. They help with hot flashes and other symptoms related like night sweats. So um, that has addressed this problem to a great extent. But when a patient comes, let's say to me, we do an overall risk assessment on having their history and signs and symptoms that they have. Sometimes both the conditions coexist. And that's why it has been a challenge, not from today, but over the years, over decades, that women are misdiagnosed, heart disease risk becomes higher, the diagnosis is delayed, the sudden presentation of heart attacks in women is more. And this is one of the important underlying causes for it. Yeah. So I think addressing one thing at a time, clearly understanding that estrogen patches are not detrimental in most of the cases, causing any strokes or heart attack in most of the cases.
Yeah.
Should be implemented first, and then patients should go for cardiac risk assessment.
Yeah. That's what they're trying to establish, some connection between a woman's OBGYN and her cardiologist, because what she was insisting is many times the left arm, the cardiologist, doesn't know what the right arm's doing, the OBGYN. And now she's creating a connection between the two where the OBGYN has to sign off and let the cardiologist know what's going on and vice versa. And there's also a controversy about the shortage of estrogen patches. Can you address that a little bit?
I haven't heard any shortage. I mean, obviously, I don't have that many patients who talk to me about it. But in general, what I hear in the news is that there is a supply shortage and it's widespread.
Yeah.
And like several brands have been affected. This may be actually due to increased demand and nothing else.
Yeah. Talking with Dr. Jeet Singh, as we do every other Monday. I'll leave you with my favorite topic, Ralph Emerson Bailey Jr. As you know, I struggle with insomnia. I'm even on drugs that help me sleep. And normally, particularly during the week when I'm in a routine, I can generally get to sleep. But on the weekends, when I know I don't have to get up, sometimes even the drugs don't help. Like last night, for some reason, I went to bed at like 11. I was woken up by a phone call that was I forget the term. What's the term I'm looking for? A spam call. Woke me up at 3:30, and I haven't been asleep since. And I don't know. I know it's hurting my health on these nights when I get like 3, 4, 2 hours sleep. Any suggestions?
You know, it depends upon multiple factors. Obviously, insomnia is a very frequent diagnosis. And most common causes in general is stress, the cortisol level that's get affected. One should check the cortisol, which is an hormone for early morning awakenings. People get classically. It's like cortisol-driven insomnia. So whether the cortisol levels are high in someone. Important other cause is low testosterone, because testosterone has been shown to help you in sleep.
Yeah, I'm very low on testosterone.
You know, and then third, not to forget, is sleep apnea.
Yeah.
So sleep apnea is linked to causes of important insomnia.
Yeah.
And then the fourth, I'm not sure in your case it matters anymore, is alcohol.
No.
People who have alcohol consumption, their sleep the next day changes. But as far as I remember, you had significantly cut down on alcohol intake.
Yeah, that's not the issue. I've tried to get off my sleep apnea machine and use. I saw a gimmick on internet where I ordered the mouthpiece and I've been using that. But now that this sleep thing is becoming more and more a problem, I think I'm going to go back to the sleep apnea machine. I really think I am. Even though
I mean, get compliant to sleep apnea. Usually, what I've recommended, I've done myself too. No alcohol, like within 3 hours of going bed.
Yeah.
That really helps. Some people actually take magnesium glycinate, which helps in sleep, and magnesium has no downside to it. If you have a dark room, that helps. Try to avoid morning sunlight.
Yeah.
And have a consistent sleep schedule. So that really pays you.
Yeah, that's why I think during the week it's not really a problem. And when I can't get to sleep and I close my eyes, I feel like my eyes are fluttering. You know what I mean? Where I can't, like, I know when I'm not going to be able to sleep. When I get that feeling, like when my eyes are closed, it still feels like my eyelids are going up and down. I don't know if that makes sense or you can understand what I'm saying, but I can tell when I'm going to have a hard night sleeping. It's weird. And it's just, I know it can't be good for me because I feel horrible right now. You know, and then these days my heart beats fast.
Look at the positive side. You know, this is what I tell you and I tell the patients too. Look at the positive side, how much you have pulled through in your health perspective. How much you weighed, what was your blood pressure readings, how bad were your kidneys, and look at you today.
Yeah.
So see the determination, the motivation you have had, and don't give it up.
Yeah.
The mental health drives the physical health output. And you have to have a positivity in you. And you are a great example yourself. So look what you have gone through and how much alcohol intake, sleep apnea, elevated BMI, blood pressure issues, kidney problems. You have come through that.
Yeah.
So I think you have the
Thanks to
potential to improve it further.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. And that's much of that is due to you, actually. We both know that.
I don't charge you for behavioral health, but I think that should be another specialty that I should start exploring.
Yes, I think so. And I need to see it. I really do. Always good to talk to you, sir. I appreciate you taking the time. It's always great to talk to you.
Thank you, Ralph.
All right, take care.
Take care, my friend. Love you.
I love you too, man. Dr. Jeet Singh. I do love that guy. Yeah, it's weird. I've been up since 3:30 this morning. Fell asleep around 11. Felt good. Took my little drug around 10. Fell off. Spam call woke me up. Tried to get back to sleep. I've been up ever since. What's that? 4.5 hours of sleep. And I can feel it the next day. My heartbeat is fast. You know, you just don't feel right. You just feel off a little bit, just a little bit. But he's right. You know, my kidneys weren't looking good at a point. Now they're fine. Now we just got to deal with this prostate situation in a couple of weeks, and I'll be in the clear. Let's hope. Quick time out. Excuse me. We'll check the board, see what you all are talking about. Kathy Abernathy will join us. We'll talk about the gubernatorial race and obviously tomorrow night's State of the Union. And bring your popcorn. Not that it's going to be exciting. It might be. But it's going to be long. 90 minutes, I got the over. Seriously. 90 minutes, I'm posting the over-under at, and I got the over. I think he might go close to 2 hours. I really do. Quick timeout. We're coming right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Monday on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.
Adaptive. Coming up on the Tuesday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, a little bit of a jolt in the markets after some tariff uncertainty thanks to the Supreme Court. What's going to happen there? How is Trump going to steady the ship? Plus, gunmen wreaking havoc in Mexico after a cartel boss was killed. Are we on the early phases here of a cartel war? We'll talk about it coming up on Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
The Kern Radio studios are powered by Adaptive Networks. For all your IT needs, call Adaptive Networks at 661-241-0638 or online at adaptive-net.com. Because when your IT goes down, you need local experts who respond fast. As I talk about all the time, whenever I talk about adaptive networks, we need them. That's why we've teamed up with them as our IT provider. Adaptive Networks is right here in Kern County with lightning quick response times. We're talking minutes, not hours. No distant call centers, no endless waiting, just local professionals who treat you like family and get you back up and running fast. Adaptive Networks, local expertise, lightning fast response. Call it today, 241-0638, 241-0638, or online at adaptive-net.com. If they're good enough for a radio station, they're probably good enough for your business. Call them today, 661-241-0638, Adaptive Networks.
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, visit fvgradio.com. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now, 800-417-6411. 800-417-6411. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $498. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and you get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $498. What are you waiting for? Call 800-417-6411 and give us your answer. The proceeding is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways and not sponsored by this program or its affiliates.
When life calls for a little extra, a kitchen upgrade, paying off debt, or that dream vacation, Valley Strong Credit Union is here to help. With a Valley Strong home equity loan, you can tap into your home's value with competitive rates, flexible terms, and local guidance you can trust. Get approved in as little as 5 minutes, with funding in as few as 5 days. Your goals are within reach. Visit valleystrong.com to get your offer today. Valley Strong Credit Union. Grow your possibilities. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 456506.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Mary Marcus is telling me to put my phone on sleep mode.
Airplane.
Mary, the issue isn't the number of spam calls that wake me up in the middle of the night. The issue is like I can't get to sleep. In this case, I couldn't get back to sleep, but normally I can't generally get to sleep just to start the night. This was a rare occasion where I actually did get back into weekday mode. I was asleep by 11 and having to wake up at 3:30 and just could not for the life of me, as much as I tried, get back to sleep, literally. And then, I stay up and now it's 5 and 17 News is starting. So I said, well, screw it. I'll just watch, instead of DVRing it, I'll just watch it live. But it really has become an issue. And I believe that's Chris Orr. So I had him call because he just texted me something. I want to get some information because this is becoming an issue with me, this insomnia. It really is a pain in the ass. Let me get Chris Orr in here in just a second. Is that Chris? Yeah. So, Chris, explain to me what this device you texted me about does.
So it's called a Ringcon. There's a couple of manufacturers, but we like this one because it doesn't charge you a monthly fee. But it's a ring and it's all sealed, and it has like a built-in pulse oximeter in it, and it monitors your steps, and it basically monitors your baseline health, your pulse. But one of its functions, because it monitors your pulse oximetry, which is your oxygen saturation in your blood, it can tell whether you're having sleep apnea events while you're asleep. Compliments of you, even though, because, medical people are the worst about getting medical help. I started really digging into my health and had some issues with overweight and blood pressure. Unfortunately, I've lost 35 pounds. My pressure's now like 110/70.
Nice.
But I was concerned. Thank you. I was concerned about sleep apnea, and I've had this for about 2 weeks. Unfortunately, I've been able to monitor that. I have no. I mean, you do have some events, but the events I had do not fall into a category of being of any concern. So this is something that you can wear, and it will monitor and let you know whether you're having too many apneic events during the night where it can become a health issue. So.
But what, I mean, okay. How much is this thing? Because, I mean, you only need it for a night, don't you? I mean, you either have sleep apnea or you don't. And if this ring tells you you don't, why do you need it anymore?
Well, it continually monitors. I mean, so every it does like a 3-day study. Like every day I get reports on this particular one. It tells me, what my average oxygen levels have been for the day, what my heart rate's been at, how many steps I've taken, how many calories I've burned.
Oh, okay.
And every 3 days.
Chris?
Yeah, can you hear me?
You blacked out there for a second. Start again.
Okay. So
every 3 days.
It does an apnea compilation. It uses 3 nights worth of monitoring and tells me if I had, any events that put me at risk. And there was like one 3-day measurement.
This phone is the worst.
So
you're blacking out again. I gotta go too. So did you have sleep apnea when you were heavy and you now don't?
I don't know, but my wife said I snort a lot, and there's a good chance I did, but I never, I'm so busy, lacrosse and work.
Did she say that did she say you stopped breathing?
She thought I did. So, like I said, this has just been a pretty, because this thing's like, when it's on sale, it's like $240, and you just download an app to your phone, and it does the rest. So, I mean, for that amount of money to have that peace of mind to know that I'm not having sleep apnea and my vitals are doing okay when I'm asleep, it's been a pretty cool thing to have. I'm not going to lie.
240 bones, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I paid that for a Dodger vest, so I guess I could pay for that for my health, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, go online and look up the reviews. Like I said, there's a couple of different manufacturers. One of the ones, like the one you can get through Amazon, you have to pay like a $60 a month subscription for monitoring. I'm like, nah, that ain't gonna work for me. So I've been totally happy with this one. I haven't had any problem.
And it's just 240 bones, period, end of sentence?
End of sentence, that's it.
Okay. I might do that.
Yeah.
Look
it up and check it out.
All right, man. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Hey, all right.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Bye. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Let's read a text message or two before we get Kathy in here.
Let's see. The news reports that the FBI director chartered a private jet at taxpayers' expense to go party at the U.S. hockey team. Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, and again, his response when he was jammed up a year ago about this isn't a new problem. That's why I have a problem with it. If this was the first time we've heard of him jetting around, it'd be one thing. But like I said at the top of the show, he took Wayne Gretzky to a hockey game in Madison Square Garden. Then a week later, he was at a UFC fight. He's been to Vegas 9 times. And when they jammed him up, you know what he said? Well, I followed the law. Because he hasn't broken the law. I'm not saying he's breaking the law. And he paid the commercial fare. So he's paying commercial fare to fly on one of the greatest jets that's flying in the air on our dime at about $100,000 a throw. And it's just the optics of it. You're the top law enforcement agent. You can't be seen chugging a beer with 20-year-olds. I don't care if it's the damn World Cup, the gold medal in hockey, the Super Bowl. I don't give a damn. You're the top law enforcement agent of the United States of America. You can't go to Vegas 9 times. You can't be flying around Wayne Gretzky, your country singer girlfriend, going to UFC fights. And you can't come into office bagging on your predecessor for doing the same thing. We played the audio at the top of the show of him bagging on Chris Ray, saying we just need to, I'm not a no defund guy, but he just shouldn't be running around in his jet. And as soon as this guy, who shouldn't be the FBI director, let's be honest, gets an opportunity to fly around, he's going to Vegas 9 times. We're a year into his tenure. Kathy Abernathy's next.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The massive winter storm slamming the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic is causing a travel nightmare.
Over 10,000 flights have been canceled through Tuesday, according to flight tracking service FlightAware. Many of the cancellations were at major hubs in Boston, New York, and Philadelphia. Baltimore and Washington area airports in Virginia were also seeing a significant number of cancellations. Amtrak has canceled over 30 trains scheduled for Monday on some of its busiest routes, including the Northeast Regional, Acela, and Keystone service.
Correspondent Bill Alexander. Nick Reiner, son of the slain couple Rob and Michelle Reiner, has made a court appearance in Los Angeles.
A plea of not guilty is entered on behalf of Mr. Reiner.
Nick Reiner is pleading not guilty in the killing of his parents, Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner. He appeared with a shaved head, wearing brown jail clothes, and not the suicide prevention smock he wore in his first court appearance. Reiner's parents, acclaimed Hollywood celebrities, were found dead inside their home with stab wounds on December 14th. DA Nathan Hochman spoke with reporters.
We take the process in which we determine whether or not the death penalty should be sought extremely seriously, and it goes through a very rigorous process.
I'm Jennifer King.
Economist Steve Moore is thankful President Trump is attacking the economic problems he inherited.
I think that's one of the things that Democrats forgot in Biden years, when we had 9% inflation. Americans hate higher prices. I'm here to tell you, because my wife gets mad. She goes to the grocery store and she gets so angry about the price of beef and the price of, so many groceries. But did you know 86% of that increase in costs was under Biden, not Trump?
Moore made his comments to the Salem Radio Network. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 821 points. The NASDAQ dropped 258. More at townhall.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000,
Well, don't make me sound more than him.
No.
He's the kingpin. Want that?
Newsflash.
Okay.
It's 4:02. The staff is still here. Whoa. I was like, holy Toledo. Wow. $4:02 and the staff is still here. Hello.
Hello.
There you go.
Oh, I forgot about that. I always do.
Oh,
he gave me a mic to wear just because I was telling him when I listen, sometimes you you don't hear as well with the YouTube. And I was trying to, he said maybe it's because there's one mic versus two. I don't know.
We have 3 mics now?
No, we have
two.
Wow.
Why does it sound like Mike Hart, the news guy? It isn't. No, it can't be.
I love this guy. I love the way he writes.
This person?
Yeah.
But that isn't the guy you have who's so high pitch voice.
No.
You said he's in Ventura or something.
Yeah, on the coast.
Yeah, I like this guy.
I do too. He writes really well. Because I was going to talk about that today. I literally wrote down the line from 17 News this morning. He succumbed to his injuries. Like, really? You can't say he died? He succumbed to his injuries? Like, and the verb fled drives me nuts. He fled from he ran. He fled from the scene. He ran. Why did he use the word fled? Nobody uses the word fled in conversation. And when I was doing TV, they told you two things. They said, because I had never done television, I was coming from print. So they told me literally to write on an 8th grade level, I swear to God, and to write conversationally. If they don't even follow their own edicts, succumb to his injuries. The only place I've ever heard that.
It's dramatic.
Is that the point?
I don't know if they're supposed to be dramatic.
That's
But
the
when I
only
think
place
of
I've ever
fleeing,
heard that.
I think of fleeing from a
From the
robbery,
cops.
or could you flee from a burning building or run? You wanted him to say run.
Because do you use the word fled in conversation? God, a bunch of people fled from the scene. Nobody talks like that.
A bad guy running away from bank robbery might flee versus run. I don't know.
It's a ridiculous verb.
Okay.
And succumb to his injury. And you know what the new phrase is? Unalived.
Oh, no, it isn't.
It is. Everybody's using it now.
What's
Pay
unalive?
attention. Just pay attention. I swear to God, by the end of the week, you'll text me and you go, you're right.
Well, I have a house plant that's soon to be unalive, but I've never heard it used.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Monday, the 23rd, which makes this a month away from the 4th annual Honor Flight Open. Please. This happened last year where you guys did the Bakersfield. You know what the Bakersfield is? Oh, the tournament's March 23rd? I'll sign up on the 21st, the 22nd. And last year we had 3 or 4 teams that could not participate because we can only go so far based on what BC, Bakersfield Country Club, wants us to do. So again, go to honorflightopen.com. Sign up now. It's a great event, and you're playing golf and helping our veterans get back to Washington, D.C. all in one very fun afternoon. And we have cocktails. I know Cassie Biddle's involved, Casey Steakhouse, and is serving food, and it's just a great afternoon. And again, you're helping our veterans playing golf. What better way to help out? In the meantime, head out on the highway. Kathy's looking for adventure. Professor Kathy Abernathy. How are you, Professor?
Thank you. Thank you for this warm welcome.
Are you ready for a long, long, long night tomorrow night? Am I wrong?
I wish he could cut it off, but
I got
don't have any faith.
I got the over under at 90 minutes, and I'm betting the over.
Over 90?
Yes. Yes.
So he wants to speak long enough to prevent everyone to go to bed before the Democrat response.
That's not a bad idea, actually. But yeah, I think he's going to go long. And I just hope he talks about the economy. And I hope he doesn't do it in a Joe Biden-like manner, telling us how, because every time he talks about the economy, he starts with the Dow Jones or the stock market, which is doing incredibly well. But that doesn't affect the woman in Des Moines, Iowa, who's got 3 kids and a deadbeat husband, and she's trying to make ends meet. You know what I'm saying?
Well, technically it does affect her, how the stock market's going. It's just that she doesn't think about the stock market. She thinks about the bills and the food and the clothes and that. But the stock market... I
thought I just said that.
No, but you said it's not wrong that he brings that up, but that isn't going to get through to the average person's head who isn't involved in the stock market. Is that what your point is? Okay, that's correct.
Which most Americans aren't, other than their 401k.
Yeah, well, no, a lot of retired people. My dad spent his whole life working on the stock market, and he was a state employee, and he was always researching stocks and investing. But no, he will go long. It's true.
I didn't say it wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't challenging you.
No, it's not.
I did kind of roll my eyes at the YouTube listeners. You talk of, sound like Gavin Newsom, that you grew up in a log cabin or something, Kathy. I mean, come on. You grew up in Palm Springs, Kathy. Come on now.
No, I grew up in Indio. Don't ever say I grew up in Palm Springs. Please. Sorry, Palm Springs Chamber of Commerce, but no, grew up in Indio Whole
I
different,
beg your
whole
pardon.
different town.
I beg your
Completely.
pardon.
No movie stars, no nothing, just other good stuff.
Eating peanut butter sandwiches, huh? Okay.
I wouldn't have been valedictorian at Palm Springs High, but I was at Indio, so
Very
different,
nicely done.
different element.
Way to sneak that in there.
Way to sneak it in, yeah. But no, I wonder, have you commented already about Gavin Newsom on the
No,
talk show?
no,
That
no,
was
no.
interesting.
I've got a whole segment on
I'll
that
let
coming
you
up at the
do
bottom of the
that.
hour.
That's
He's an idiot.
Yeah, well,
That's
I
why
think
I'm
it's more
praying.
that he's an idiot than he didn't realize what he was doing because he's an idiot. You think?
No, I know. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. He was trying to, his problem, and he is smart enough to identify it, is the French Laundry. He's an elitist. He's an elitist. And I don't mind that. You like nice things, but don't try to come at me like you're ordinary Joe. You know what I'm saying? You're not. You came from wealth. You're wealthy as hell. You can afford to go to the French Laundry. I can't. I make good money. I can't go to the French Laundry.
Please interject. French Laundry is a very expensive restaurant. I don't know if the average person knows that.
Yeah, well, thank you.
It's a
Thank you for
restaurant.
tightening that up. But he was called on it then, and he's being called on it now, where if you don't know what we're talking about, he was in front of a group of folks in Atlanta, which I presumed the Democrats are saying it wasn't. But I presume if it's in Atlanta, there are a lot of black people there. They're saying, no, it's predominantly white. I don't care. Where he tried to say, you know, I got a 960 on the SAT, and I'm just like you. And Nicki Minaj, I don't know who said it best, Tim Scott or Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj said, this is his way of bonding with black people, telling them how stupid he is and that he can't read. And Tim Scott said, where's Mr. Scott? Tim Scott said, black Americans aren't your low bar. We built empires, created movements, outworked, out-hustled, and outsmarted people like you. Stop using your mediocre academics as a way to patronize communities. It's ridiculous. And he's absolutely right. You're not like me, Gavin. I got the lowest math SAT score in my graduating class, and I still got an 1190. So you're not like me. I'm smarter than you. You're stupid. And that group of black people, if they didn't walk out angry, there's something wrong with them. But I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, I think it was a black radio host. I don't. Looked like
That was the mayor.
Oh,
it was the mayor.
It was the mayor, but I thought maybe it was a radio show. I wasn't sure.
Because he laughed like a clown and he giggled with this guy and flirted with him, and I was like, don't get me started.
I'm just like you. Yeah, well, Newsom's always an act. Nothing's sincere about what he does.
Well, I'm pulling for him. I'm pulling for him.
You
Just
hope
like
he's
I'm
the
pulling.
nominee.
I do. Just like, although it's not going to happen, Jasmine Crockett is the Senate candidate.
Really?
Oh, Jim Tallarico is going to beat her.
Oh, okay.
Jim Tallarico is going to beat her, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, it would have been better if it was her.
Oh, so much.
Right.
She's leading by 8 points. And that whole mess last week with the equal time thing is just Scott. He was on Bill Maher Friday night. He was on Colbert, and then they told him not to. So Colbert put it on YouTube. It got 6 million hits. He raised $2.5 million in a day. And I said that day, he's down by 8 points, and he's going to win. And he's going to win. And the primary is in June, is in a couple of weeks, actually. No, they're voting in Texas already. What am I talking about?
But
they're already voting.
But my question is, then she's not running for reelect. Then she won't be in Congress.
Thank you, Jesus. That's why I wanted her to win the
I
primary.
thought it was so early that maybe, yeah, okay.
That's why I wanted her to win the primary, so she can be beat by the AG down there, who looks like he's going to be the Republican candidate, not the incumbent, John Cronin.
You don't think Cronin will make it?
I don't think so. What do you think?
Well, he's been there a while. He's pretty popular, I think, but
He's trailing Cornyn. I mean, he's trailing who's the AG?
Giving up her congressional seat to run for Senate.
Oh, she thinks she's going to win.
Well,
she thinks she's going to win. She thinks she's going to.
Well, maybe she thinks, yeah.
I think that crazy Texas district victory for the Democrats have got them drunk with we're going to flip Texas now. Not so fast.
No,
not so fast.
I don't see that. Not with her. Between her and AOC this last week, wow! And you saw AOC's latest, was where she was acting like somebody. They said it was somebody asleep in the room, or was it a dog that was yawning?
What you talking about, Willis?
You didn't see her?
Are you talking about
AOC?
her moment in Europe?
Well, but this week
there's another one.
Yeah, she said. I didn't. She's got her head down and she's talking like this, and you hear some type of a sound. It's either a man snoring or a dog. And you got to hear it during break. And she says, but I thought a lot about it. And so I didn't want to be flippant like well, it didn't work, but they're making fun of that now.
Wow.
She's got
No,
two
I didn't
going
see
for
that.
it, yeah.
I didn't see that.
But this weekend, I didn't go. I don't think they'd let me in. But the Democratic
That's what I was
state-
thinking. How did you sneak into the Democratic convention?
Hey, it's me, Kathy. No, it was the Democratic State Convention, but locally, Jasmeet Baines versus that Randy Villegas, they didn't go with her, which is a big deal. She is an incumbent legislator to a total unknown,
and couldn't get the endorsement.
And she did not get the endorsement of the Democratic State Party convention. That's a big deal. And that he had raised more money than she did. It said in the last reporting period. Well, the only reporting period ended December 31. So that means all last year he raised more than her.
Talking about Randy Villegas?
Yeah. So that kind of makes me wonder about what could happen in this congressional race. There's still time for her to back out and not run. She still has 2 weeks till filing closes.
See, all my favorite Democrats that I want to win are losing.
Oh, you like?
Yes, I want her on the ticket. I think Valadao will destroy her.
Yeah.
I think Villegas gives him a hard time, but I think he destroys Baines.
Yeah. Villegas or? Yeah.
I think it's Villegas. Yeah, Villegas.
Yeah. I thought it was Villegas, but.
No, the double O you don't pronounce.
But I think that he would have a workforce, street force of workers for him.
Exactly.
And that would be in a seat like that where you don't have one big city, a lot of little smaller places. It could be effective. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. But
Swalwell did not get the endorsement either, which I think is really putting winds in the sails of either Chad Bianco or who we'll have on the program this week, as a matter of fact.
Really?
Yeah, I think we're having one on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve Hilton. What are your thoughts on Hilton's attack on Chad Bianco on the taking a knee with the BLM? That's significant,
yeah,
is it not?
What I didn't understand about why, if that's why Bianco did it, what I saw, and I guess that it wasn't like everybody else was taking a knee. He and his other workforce, two other officers did that, but it looked like they were, if he hadn't said that was real, it looked to me like they were just bending down to, okay, let's talk, and you can't really sit on your, Indian style.
Right.
That's how I took it, except till I read that that's what supposedly it was. I don't know how long. I think that might have hit a little better in May than now. I think he'll be able to get away from it.
Because they switched spots in the most recent poll. Hilton is now leading all gubernatorial candidates, with Swalwell second, then Bianco is third, and was it you that told me?
Pretty tight.
It's tight. It's tight. But the fact that we've got two of the three, in the top three, two Republicans
in February.
Yeah.
I keep saying when people ask me who you supporting for governor, I want to see these guys spend their millions, and what kind of campaign are they going to run to get the voters, not just who I like, if I could be king or queen. I want to see how kind of campaign they run. So I'm not interested in endorsing anybody right now because they haven't produced a campaign for me to see, are they going to get to the voters? And of course, the worst thing is to understand we don't have a primary in the state. We have this top two. So they're like we've had in many elections, we're going to have two Democrats in the general, and one of them will try to be slightly more conservative on 2 or 3 minor issues to try to get some Republican votes. We should go back to that. The contest in November in a state of 15, 20 million voters should be 12 million voters should be between two philosophies of government. We haven't had that in ages. So I hope one of them can get out. I don't know. I don't know if they'll be able to. But the Democrats, you had to have 60% of the Democrat convention this weekend in San Francisco to get endorsed. And so, no, they all were in the teens.
Yeah, Swalwell wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Wasn't even close. At least Baines was close. She was in the 50s, from what I understand.
Baines, I didn't see that. I didn't see her number on that.
I think she got like 54.
But Swalwell, all of them, though, all the Democrats for governor were under 20%.
Well, that's the key. That's the key to our victory. Ain't none of these nitwits going to get out. Villaraigosa ain't going anywhere. These guys that are in the single digits. Tony Thurman. Y'all don't know who Tony Thurman is.
And yet what is he? He was Secretary of Education.
No, he's the superintendent of schools.
Oh,
he's the state superintendent of schools.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Who else is it? Villaraigosa, Tom Steers is making some.
Betty Yee came in second, and she's a former controller of California,
And she's polling in the single digits.
Yeah. Well, no, she got polling is versus the convention. Okay.
Yeah,
different
polling.
subject. Yeah. Yeah.
She's like 7th
Right.
in
right.
polling, but she was second at the convention. I love
Tom
that.
Steyer, is he going to spend his money? I don't know.
He is. He spent
think he's gonna
21 million
stay?
already, and he's at like 8 or 9% of the most recent poll.
That's a lot of money to burn up. But what did you think about here? I told you a few months ago, I thought Katie Porter could still do it. And
I
then-
thought it was you.
And then I thought she could still, just like she had a tough woman thing going, but to hold a poster up that says, and I don't know whether all the letters were there or the TV covered them up, but her posters that she held up were F Trump. I mean, really?
I told you.
Really? I
told you.
That's a statewide leader thinks that the best thing she can do in this state is to talk dirt.
She's not likable. And some politicians like Hillary Clinton, like Jasmine Baines, like this woman, they don't get it. They really don't. They don't understand the likability factor. And it's amazing that people that come from the party of Reagan, because I always felt like I was a young Democrat and I liked the guy. And he sent some of my friends home because he cut funding to historically Black colleges. But I generally liked the guy. And I was a 20-year-old, extremely liberal African American. But he was funny, he was nice, he was, and that carries a lot of weight in politics. Yes.
Reagan's sense of humor. And it came off
Self-deprecating.
Yeah.
Whenever he would allude to the founding fathers, his standing joke was, and despite popular opinion, I was not there when Thomas Jefferson wrote it, or whatever. Whenever he was talking about the founding fathers, he'd make some allusion to his age.
Right.
It was great. And that's part of it. And Hillary wasn't likable. I think that's what sunk her. And Katie Porter's just, I think when you see her picture, you think of that incident with her employee, where she basically cursed the girl
she's
out.
Kind of resurrecting that whole story. If people had forgotten about it when she starts throwing profanity around. Even for president, I'm looking for a Margaret Thatcher. I mean, there are women like that in this country. Sandra Day O'Connor, just people that were eloquent and likable and tough
and strong. Yes.
Yeah, without having to use
Crass.
4-letter words to show how strong they are.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Well, let's hope that's we put to bed Miss Porter. And
that is a common problem with women in politics that I've noticed. I think Kristi Noem has that same issue.
Yeah, I didn't think it till this kind of piled on. The dog thing, I was going to let it go, but it kind of piled on a little bit. And then, well, my friends know I'm not into all this hair running down the waist. It's like, look at me, and that's not what. So anyway.
Yeah, if you did that, I get it. But to write it in your book and to talk about it like I'm tough and I can make the tough decisions and I took a shotgun to my 14-month-old dog, and somehow that makes you tough. No, that makes you heartless.
Well, she was a great governor, and
she was. That's what I don't understand about.
She's turned a little bit on this. I don't know who gives advice to people sometimes, but if they would just be themselves and not try to conjure up, I'm tough. I know I'm a woman, but listen, this is how tough I am. I shot my dog.
F Trump.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
And that's her campaign.
Yeah.
She's not running against Swalwell. She's running.
She and her sign. I think that's what Katie Porter's. Her billboards will be that. I'll see if the billboard companies will put the whole thing. Maybe they'll just put an asterisk. But Swalwell was the highest in the Democratic State Convention. Now those are the most probably leftist Democrats. Oh,
good.
Good. If we can get
he's our only shot.
If we can get a Republican out of the primary in June, but it'd be better if only one was running. We'd have it for sure with one of them, but I don't see either of them dropping out. There's two pretty strong personalities.
I know, and I hated to see Hilton attack Bianco. I was hoping that they would kind of come together and maybe even say, hey, if we're a week or two out and one of us is third or fourth, maybe you'll throw in with the guy who's ahead. I don't know.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like that's likely.
They both have great knowledge. I don't argue that. I think they each, of course, with Hilton, it's the whole British accent, which he's had time to get rid of. And I urged him to do that.
Did you really?
Yeah, we met and I said one thing, got to change.
What
to
he's-
get involved.
what'd he
You gotta
say?
break that accent. Okay, but he needed a staffer like me hanging around everywhere he goes and say, okay, it's not California. Just different things. Bianco, I think the cowboy hat and the mustache and all that works in the Central Valley, and I know he's a sheriff down in my part of the world, but I think it's a little much. I think you want to maybe take that hat off. I saw a picture of Bianco like 5-6 years ago. Very handsome to me, and a better look for the whole state. So I know he'll get the Central Valley, but he's got to get LA, San Diego, and some of the Bay Area to make this work. So again, voters, I didn't vote for this, but those of you who voted to do away with a partisan primary, this is why we're in a situation where we debate, should we make a Republican get out of the race so that they can definitely get through to the general, or, two Democrats that are both as liberal, and who do you pick? It's we need those laws that change that, and this redistricting law has just taken away the power of the voters.
Yeah.
It really has. It really
Yeah.
has.
This state has just gone to hell. It really has.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I don't even
tragic.
recognize it. I really don't.
Tragic.
It is. Yeah. It is. And do you see here in 2030, we're supposed to lose another, I think it was either 2 or 4 congressional seats?
Because of population.
Yeah. That's their expectation.
I think that's why they thought open up the border and get some bodies in here. But the real problem is what you pass in Sacramento. I try to tell people we're more impacted by that state capital than the one in Washington. That place is why you're paying $14 of every tank. You go fill up tonight, $14 going to Gavin Newsom. Is that right? Other states are paying $2. We're paying $4 for gas. Why? Because all this, our housing costs, because of all these special rules and laws and how many dripping fire preventions in your rooms and all this stuff they have to do. All this permitting in this state, it's a nightmare.
And plus the new tax that's coming, the mild tax.
The tax on the billionaire tax?
No, the mileage tax.
Oh, mileage tax. Oh, that's another. They said
That's
they're
another.
studying it. They're going to study.
Oh, please.
Remember, these are the same folks for green reasons that said that they wanted to get better mileage on these cars. In Detroit and Japan, you got to get better mileage. Well, what do you get with better mileage? You don't have to buy so much gas. So then you're not paying so much gas tax. So now they're saying, whoops, now how do we nail drivers for more money? They're saying it'll be one or the other. No way.
No way.
We'll bill you for every mile you drive. And there'll be cops that they'll stop you at some stations and you'll have to show your odometer.
Crazy.
It's
crazy.
It's just another way to steal. And when people, now let me say this about the economy. I don't know if we have time.
You do. You got to convince.
Saturday afternoon, and even just now today, I must see at any hour of the day, 5, 8, 10 cars in drive-through buying fast food, which isn't cheap food. It's just fast food. And I'm thinking, all these people, and then I was at Valley Plaza, and people are in line buying either food stuff or buying stuff in the stores. I stood in lines, and I'm thinking, people have spending money. They're spending it.
Oh,
so you talk about the economy. Otherwise, because I know a few meals at In-N-Out, and it's $65 for a family of 3 kids. So it was 65. Who knows what it is now? But I do see a heavy people shopping and spending money.
This may be controversial, but in my opinion, the people that spend most carelessly are the poor. You go into ghettos and see the nicest cars in the driveway, and they live in a shack. They live in a horrible situation, but they've got the 65-inch television, Jack, and they've got the Game Boys, Jack, and they got the nice car in the driveway. But they live they've got 5 people in a 1-bedroom house or a 2-bedroom apartment, or, you know what I'm saying? I think it's true. They spend like they have it and they don't,
right?
Or their priorities are wrong.
Well, and this purchasing from, and I don't want to hit on restaurants, but if you're shopping, I don't think when I grew up, if my parents took us out to a dinner, it was a couple times a year, maybe. It wasn't 3-4 days a week.
No, we had fast food on Friday nights.
Did you?
That was my parents' date night. Was Friday nights,
so
and we loved it. Once a week, we had McDonald's on Friday nights. We always looked forward to it.
Right.
The only time we ate out was Fridays and Sundays. My dad would have to work Sunday mornings, and he would go buy Dupars and get breakfast for us and leave it out for us and go sleep. And we'd wake up to Dupars, pancakes and stuff. That was the only 2 times we would eat out. Only 2 times.
And this man grew up with a doctor for a father.
Yes, sir.
So you tell me how the rest of the economy
That's
who
what I'm
don't make
saying.
that kind of money are able to go out and constantly shop, clothes, the whole thing. There's just, and I know some of it's cheaper, but you're still burning up cash
Yeah.
and you're not investing it.
And you're absolutely right when you say fast food is not cheap. It's
Well, thank the governor for that too, because he raised the minimum wage on fat food places.
Yeah.
Higher for them than other wages. And I'll throw in this bit, when my daughter had a job at In-N-Out and she worked and she did such a good job, they gave her a raise. The next week, Newsom gave everybody a raise.
Yeah.
So where's the reward for hard work?
Unbelievable.
That's another one.
Unbelievable. Kathy Abernathy, everybody. Quick time out. Don't go anywhere. Whew. God. Yeah,
What?
I just cannot stand Gavin Newsom. I just can't stand him. And do you know Randy Giamara?
Yeah.
Doesn't he look like Gavin Newsom? I ran into him this weekend.
That's a good point.
He
probably
really
don't like
does.
hearing that.
He hates it. He hates it. That's why I always bring it up to him. He's a good guy, really
Yeah,
good
whenever
guy.
you say French Laundry, I think people forget, I don't, but that it was a campaign fundraiser with lobbyists.
During COVID.
At a restaurant. It's called Laundry, but you know, it's very.
During COVID,
During COVID,
when we were supposed to stay home, and he was.
His son got married that same month.
Much of the country feared another wave of violence. The body count taken by security officials included security forces, suspected cartel members, and others. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 821 points. The Nasdaq dropped 258. More details at srnnews.com.
I ran into Judy this
News Talk
weekend.
96.1
I did, Mexicali.
AM 1180.
And I asked her, I told her, give it a nice
From the KERN newsroom, your live and local news.
And I also asked her, I said,
News
the
Talk
rumors,
96.1
because I didn't know he was on the
and
LA
AM
28
1180
board.
KERN.
There's rumors that if
Hi,
they
Chris
get rid of
Davis.
Wasserman,
A man was hit and killed on
he could
Baker
take
Street
over.
just north of Truxton
Between
Avenue
him
in
and Jeannie
downtown
Buss,
Bakersfield
the girl
last
who
night
used to
about
own the
8:20.
Lakers,
Say
Dad
Bakersfield
owned the
police.
Lakers.
That man was
Her,
hit by a
Jeannie,
Chevy
him,
truck
Jeannie
and a car,
Buss, and
and
one
both
other
drivers
celebrity
stayed and
that's on the board.
cooperated with police.
They
His
said
name
it's
has
between
not
those
yet
three
been
if they
made
get rid of
public.
Wasserman.
A man
And the
was
way this
killed in
Epstein
another
thing is
wreck
going,
Sunday about 2 p.m. in
Wasserman could be
Kernville on
forced
Sierra
out.
Way near Cyrus Canyon Road.
Yeah,
25-year-old
and they just
Nadeem
arrested,
Zaman of Bakersfield lost control
what's his
and
name?
wrecked
The
his
British guy.
motorcycle. Kern
Mendelsohn,
County
Peter
is getting
Mendelsohn?
just under $3.5
So
million
Keir
to help prevent
Starker, the
sexually
PM,
transmitted diseases from the
he's
California
walking
Department of Public
dead.
Health. It's mostly aimed at
I know.
seniors.
Judy said she
I'm
didn't
Chris
think.
Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when
She
it
said she
breaks
didn't think they
on
wanted
FM
to take out
96.1
Wasserman.
and AM
And even if
1180
they did, she didn't think
KERN.
he'd
Are
get
you
it
looking
because
for a
he was told.
hospital that truly cares for your health and well-being? At Good
Yeah.
Samaritan Hospital, they provide
I
high-quality
was going to
medical
say, who
detox,
knows better to
psychiatric
raise
services,
money?
and medical and
But
surgical
she said it
care.
was like a
They accept
partisan
most
thing.
insurances, including
Plus,
Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's
I don't think so.
longest-standing
I think
inpatient
so, yeah.
detox program
Yeah, you
with
can care
dual
Bass,
diagnosis that combines medical
It's the
care
Olympic
and
Games.
withdrawal management
Yeah.
all under
Oh,
one roof. Learn
God.
more
Have
at
you seen her recent videos
GoodSamaritanHospital.com
where
or
she's
call
filling in
661-215-7500.
potholes?
Good Samaritan
Yeah, that's what I was
Hospital.
like.
They
You
care
gotta
for
be
their
kidding
community.
me.
When life calls for a little
Yeah,
extra,
she's like,
kitchen
she's like
upgrade,
physically
paying off
filling
debt,
in a
or that dream vacation,
pothole.
Valley Strong Credit Union
She had like a
is
big
here to
speech,
help.
was in
With a Valley
Chinatown.
Strong home equity loan, you can
Now,
tap into your
isn't
home's
it? It's
value
this,
with
yeah.
rates, flexible terms, and local guidance you
Yeah.
can trust.
All right, we'll see you
Get
next
approved
week.
in as little as 5 minutes, with funding in as few as 5 days. Your goals are within reach. Visit valleystrong.com to get your offer today. Valley Strong Credit Union. Grow your possibilities. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 456506.
On the next Armstrong and Getty show, Major American Hospital says no more sex changes for kids. Plus, woke AI companies who don't want the Pentagon to use their stuff to kill anyone. What?
And all kinds of hormone replacement therapy for men and women is making us much different beasts in our 60s than people used to be. It's kind of interesting. All on the next Armstrong and Getty show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning, 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
that the truth? Ugh. Sucks being old. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Who you got?
Mike.
Mike, you're on the Ralph Bailey Show. Mike. Going once. Going twice. Goodbye, Mike. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Mike, if you can hear me, we didn't get to you. Call back. If something
You
wrong
had
with your
something to
phone.
say about Reagan and likability. You guys were talking about presidents
Yeah.
and their likability.
Reagan was the master, especially coming after Jimmy Carter. And that's why I'm just so disappointed in what's going on with Donald Trump. You know, when you follow a failure, the door is wide open for you. If you just do C+ work, you should be able to have a decent approval number. But that's not the case. I'll get to that coming up in the 5. We'll talk about the president's approval ratings and what is going to be said tomorrow night at the State of the Union. But I did want to get to Gavin Newsom and his comments down in Atlanta. Here is our inept, ridiculous, entitled governor.
You know, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you.
You got that
I'm a
right.
960 SAT guy. And, you know, and I'm not trying to offend anyone, you know, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech.
Mickey,
Maybe the wrong business to be in.
yeah, it is. So get out of it. Nicki Minaj, or as I read earlier, said his way of bonding with black people is telling them how stupid he is and that he can't read. That's exactly how I took it. And as I said earlier, Governor, you're not like me. I got the single lowest math score in my graduating class, and I still got 1190. My youngest sister, who was black, got like 1300 on her SATs. So you're right. You're not like us. You stupid. But don't try to shake off your entitled air by first claiming that you grew up poor. Remember that a couple months ago? Where he said he came home to television and peanut butter sandwiches or something stupid. Have you gone crazy? And now he's trying to pretend that he's every man because he got a 960, which, by the way, is above the national average. If you're an athlete, all you got to do is get an 800 if you got a C grade point average. So 960 is average. But he wants to pretend as it's stupid and tried to make the comparison that he's like, we're like him. No, we're not. Most of us aren't. You're an idiot. And to try to play off that to, again, shake your entitled air ain't going to work. I hope it does. Because, Gavin, I swear on my father's grave, I'm rooting for you, pal. I desperately want you to be the Democratic nominee in 2028. Desperately. Because you will get destroyed. I think J.D. Vance beats you, and I don't think J.D. Vance is a very good vice president. And I think he beats you easily. Marco Rubio would destroy you. You are a failed governor who has destroyed a country, a state that is the size of a country that once was the land of milk and honey. People used to run to California. It was your dream spot. Now people are running to Texas and Florida and all these Tennessee. And what do they all have in common? Nevada, no state taxes. So we are losing movers and shakers because it's rich folks. Because us middle class folks can't afford to leave California. It's crazy what this man has done. And just talking down to black folks. I told you earlier what Tim Scott wrote. He said, Black Americans aren't your low bar. We've built empires, Wakanda, created movements, outworked, out-hustled, and outsmarted people like you. Stop using your mediocre academics as a way to patronize communities. It's ridiculous. And he's absolutely right. But again, let's cross our fingers. Let's all cross our fingers and hope that he is the nominee, because there's no way in the world he is not going to get finally punished for his ridiculous record. Sure, you can get reelected in a one-party state. If you say, well, Ralph, he's, a two-time governor. Yeah, in a one-party state. Of course he's got elected. Just like the fact of the matter is, if Steve Hilton or Chad Bianco go up against a Democrat, it's going to be an uphill climb because we are a one-party state. Now, the good fortune in the gubernatorial race is there's not a decent candidate among the Democrats. When Eric Swalwell is your leading candidate, you're in trouble as a party. When Betty Yee, who is running at about 4% in the state, is the second greatest vote getter in a Democratic convention, they're in utter chaos. Think about that. Her numbers, she's like 7th or 8th. She's in single digits. Hilton and Bianco are destroying Betty Yee. She's not even a factor. And yet she was the second. She got more votes than Katie Porter. She almost got as many votes as Eric Swalwell. And she's running 7th. She's running well behind the 2 Republicans. I'm telling you, we've got an opportunity. And it's that fact that none of these Democrats are going anywhere. The primary's in June, y'all. It's right around the corner. And they've got Tony Thurmond and Betty Yee and Antonio Villaraigosa and just all these candidates that are Tom Steyer, all these people that don't have a chance in hell, but they're siphoning off votes. And there has not yet been a gubernatorial poll where either one of the Republicans weren't at the top. Did you hear what I just said? There has yet to be a poll conducted where a Democrat is leading the way in the gubernatorial race. Not one. It's been Hilton or Bianco. Period. End of sentence. Katie Porter was hanging in there at second for a little bit. Swalwell got in. That pushed her down a notch. Bianco got stronger. That pushed her further down a notch. In the most recent poll, it's Hilton, Swalwell, Bianco, then Katie Porter. And then after that, it's everybody in single digits. Steyer, that whole Harlem Globetrotter team I just announced. Villaraigosa, Yee, Thurmond, yeah, just a bunch of no-win candidates. And that's our shot. You may have seen on the news, they, particularly if you watch 17, as I do, they had Eitan Wallace, a former KGT employee who does kind of co-work for KGTs up in Sacramento at the affiliate that Nexstar affiliate, that Nexstar owns KGT. And he interviewed some folks coming out of the Democratic convention, and they were like, if somebody doesn't get out, these are just conventioners. If somebody doesn't get out, we could end up with 2 Republicans at the top of the ticket. And I was like, you're damn right. You're damn right. It's a possibility. And this is a rare time where I'm more optimistic than Kathy. Kathy, I don't thinks that there's a chance in hell that both of them get there. She's crossing her fingers that one of them gets there. I still have hope that maybe both of them get there. Yeah, it's not likely. And again, if one of them gets there, that's going to be a tough general election because, again, we are a one-party state. But having said that, I still think we got a boxer's chance. It's like poker. A chip and a chair is all you need. In golf, up and down, chip and a putt. I think we've got a chance. I think we've got a boxer's chance. But you got to get out and vote. And it's not enough to vote because we're getting close, not only to the primary, but to the midterms. It's not enough to vote. It really isn't. You got to call your friends. You got to check on people. Hey, Chris, did you vote? Okay, just checking. You didn't? Well, dude, go vote. You know what I'm saying? We got to pound the pavement. We got to generate everything we can. We can't afford anything. We can't afford a misstep. Democrats overwhelm us, obviously, so Swalwell's got some room to screw up and be attacked, but when it comes to that general election, it's got to be all hands on deck on the Republican Party, whoever the nominee is, whether it's Hilton or Bianco. And as I said, Chad Bianco is joining us later on in the week, Sheriff of Riverside and the third leading candidate in the gubernatorial contest. We'll take a quick time out. We'll come right back, see what you all are talking about. Coming up at the 5, we'll discuss Trump's low numbers. And I know the Trump administration listens to the broadcast, so I'm going to give them some tips on how they could right the ship. Tony Gonzalez may shorten not that Tony Gonzalez, Representative Tony Gonzalez, who was admitted to having an affair with a staffer who ended up dead. There are some Republicans that are calling for him to resign right before his own primary down in Texas way. We'll get into that. Our Black History Month moment falls on Blake Bolden, the first African-American female hockey player in the wake of the gold medal victory on both the men and the women's side. And I've got some miscellaneous audio I want to play for you. Pat Riley has a statue in front of, crypto.com, whatever. It'll always be the Forum to me. I don't care if it's downtown, it's not Inglewood, it'll always be the Forum. And no, it's not audio from this weekend, believe it or not. I've got some classic Pat Riley audio I want to play for you. And I've got a really long bite of Lindsey Vaughn, but I want to play this before I get out of here because I love this woman. And when you hear her describe what she's gone through in the last month, it'll make you cringe. She almost lost her leg. She really did. And she talks about how, well, I'll let her tell you because it's pretty gory, actually. It really is. But she's back on American soil. She's got her leg. She's still got 2 operations to get through, if you can believe that, after having like 4. But she says she's blessed and she's a very lucky woman. Quick time out. We're coming right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Monday, right here on News Talk 96.1 AM 1180 KERN. We stream live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.
Big Mike.
RN. The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Nobody's talking about that self-worth and purpose. We're talking about that. Nobody says that. There's more to you than what you're doing. Let's help you get there.
Let's help you get there. Let's just all agree that there's many different roads, but different people dealing with homelessness and living on the streets to get them.
Right, I agree with you.
And as long as we can start there, then I think we can start to make a bigger day.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You know, you guys might have noticed that whenever I talk about my friend Mike Arier, owner-operator of Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue, one of the finest caterers in Kern County, I always mention the fact that he was an NFL football player. And it's that discipline and that hard work and that hustle that took a Garces boy to the NFL. And it's that discipline and hard work that Mike has transferred into his business, Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue. And that's why if you've got any kind of event going on, don't get in the kitchen. Call Mike Arier at 393-5507, 393-5507. When Mike takes on a client, he comes personally with his crew, his rig. He does the cooking. They do the serving. They do the cleaning. You do nothing. Call him today at 393-5507. Whether it's graduation right around the corner, whether it's a birthday, Mother's Day, whatever it is, you can rely on Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue to provide the best catering food you've ever had. Call them today at 393-5507, 393-5507. Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue. And yes, they're still raging hot.
Every business starts with an idea. With smart business buying from Amazon Business, get everything you need to grow in one familiar place. From office supplies to IT essentials and maintenance tools. Ready to bring your visions to life? Learn how at AmazonBusiness.com.
Even if you've given up on your New Year's resolutions, one health habit that's easy to keep is Active Liver from New Nordic. Active Liver protects your liver so you can enjoy life to the fullest. Online at Amazon, in stores at CVS, Walgreens, and now GNC.
Jackson Hewitt knows taxes are complicated, and with multiple jobs and tax forms, they're like, sonata complicated.
Our no surprise pricing keeps things simple. Jackson Hewitt does your taxes for only $149 or less. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back. So what are you waiting for? Hurry. File with Jackson Hewitt today for only $149 or less, guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Ah, springtime. A time to plant some flowers, cut the grass.
Drag racing fans, forget the honeydews because it's back and it's nitro time. The Good Vibrations Motorsports March Meet returns to Famoso Drag Strip in Bakersfield, March 5th through the 8th. 4 big days of nitro burning funny cars, dragsters, and those insane ground hunting fuel motors. Experience quarter-mile drags like it used to be. Walk the pits, check out the car show, swap meet, and the manufacturer's midway. The Vila sensation and Sell Nitro all weekend long. See the champions crowd on Championship Sunday. Tickets at the gate or marchmeet.com. Kids 15 and under are free with a paid adult. The Good Vibrations Motorsports March Meet at Famoso Drag Strip, March 5th through the 8th. Smell the Nitro.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Window, wearing the face that she keeps in a jar by the door.
All the very people, where do they all come from? Eleanor Rigby. We led with Olympics today, but I forgot. I want to play something that I neglected. You gotta remind me. I'm getting old, Chris. You gotta remind me. I've been leaving audio on the floor, so to speak. You know what I mean? Where you cut stuff and I don't use it, and I almost did it again because we've got a bite from Jack Hughes, the kid who got his teeth knocked out literally and continued to play and won the gold medal for us. Here's Jack Hughes.
This is all about our country right now. I love the USA. I love my teammates. It's unbelievable. The USA Hockey Brotherhood is so strong. And we have so much support from ex-players. I'm so proud to be American today.
That in the wake of an American who was, I don't know what her story was. I think her mother was from Japan. What's the story of the woman that went and played for China or Japan? One of the two.
I think it was China, if I remember correctly. She's from here, but her mother's from China, so she represented their country instead of America.
China? Really?
I believe she placed. I don't know if she won gold. I can't remember what she won, but she did win.
And then the other woman who said, I don't feel real proud of being an American right now. So it's good to hear that kind of audio from Jack Hughes. Because this has been I didn't even get into that at the top of the show, the weirdness of this Winter Olympics. 3 different people got married during the Olympics. There was Breezy Johnson, a former lesbian, who now apparently, I almost said that the way I would say that conversationally, but she's now back to men. That's not how I would say that conversationally, but I'm on the radio and the FCC is listening. Then there was the Hillary Knight, who was the captain of the hockey team. She proposed to her lesbian lover, Brittany Bow. And then there was the guy, I forget what country he's from, Chris, who I think is from Norway, who confessed cheating on his girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about this.
Like, dude, really? Like, first of all, and ladies, I'm sorry, but it is the man code. I'm not saying it's good, but it's the man code. What is the man code, Chris, when you're having an affair and you're caught?
Deny, deny, deny.
Deny, deny, deny. What's the matter with you?
It is Norwegian as well.
You get on national television, international television, global television, and spill your guts? Deny, deny, deny. Certainly not me, ladies, or potential ladies, or potential girlfriends. But it's just been a weird romantic Olympics. You know what I'm saying? And the other one that I love was, have you seen the video of Chloe Kim's father when she kissed Myles Garrett?
I did not see this.
Now, I don't know if it was directly related. That would be unfair. I have no idea. I wasn't there, but it's the video. So she's there with her family, and Myles Garrett not only sticks out because he's black, but he's also 6'5", 265 pounds at the Olympics. And the parents are kind of in the background. I know some of you have seen this. And they kiss, and the dad goes like this. The dad is like, and they kiss, and he goes. Now, maybe somebody said something. Maybe it was completely unrelated to the kiss. I'm just telling you what I saw. And I always forget, I started in radio in the 20th century. When I was working at Coast Media Newspapers, a friend of my parents, Willie Davis, oh, not that Willie Davis, center fielder for the Dodgers, but Willie Davis, longtime Green Bay Packer and Hall of Famer, he transitioned well out of football and became a very, very successful businessman. And he owned a brewery and a radio station, KACE, K-Ace, which was a traditionally black station when I was growing up in LA. And a senior person, Lynn, was the news director, and she asked me to, or she was the personality. She had a Sunday show, and she asked me to come on and do the news for her Sunday morning shows from 6 to 9. And I was like our news guy at the top and bottom of the hour. And every now and again, because I was a smart guy, I suppose, and destined for this gig, I suppose, a senior person, Lynn, would like engage me. And we were talking about Asians. And I said, well, you know, Asians are very culturally myopic. Like black folks will date white folks and white folks will date black folks, but Asians don't really stray out of their culture. I got fired that Monday. Literally. And Willie Davis was a friend of my parents. And I literally thought I could like go to Mr. Davis. He wouldn't see me. And I was just too proud to say, but you know my dad. You've been to my house. I just let it go because I was just making a little extra scratch. I think I was making like $75 a week extra, which at the time was big money for me. But yeah, that got me whacked. But it's true. It's true. It's true. Just saying. Just saying. It's changed now I said that in the 20th century. Things have changed dramatically in terms of race relations and boop bop bop bop. But look at Colin Maricala's wife. She white? She Latino? She black? No. Look at all the players on the PGA Tour who are Asian. They're almost to a player. Their wives are Asian. Shohei Ohtani. Yamamoto. They don't need white people. No. Just saying. It's a cultural observation. That's all I'm saying. Got me fired. Hope it doesn't again. But it's true. It's true. Let's have a text message. What do you got?
This is a 60-40 state, no one party. Even extreme conserve Orange County turned blue because the Republicans such idiots now.
Okay. David Valdeo's an idiot. Vince Vaughn is an idiot. Really? And it's not 60-40. Steve Garvey damn near won 45% of the vote and didn't even try, if you ask me. He should have had a house in Central Valley. We saw him here, what, twice, 3 times? Steve Garvey, what's the matter with you? We'll see. We'll see how stupid Republicans are when we get a Republican governor in there. One more.
JD has chimed in.
JD!
Ralph, I'm so happy that you brought up Governor Newsom's "You People" parroted Newsom. The only difference, Gabby, is that if you would have scored a 500 on the SAT and your rich family still would have gotten your sorry butt into that private Catholic school because you had the money.
Thank you. Well said, JD. I could not have said it better. I wish I'd said it, as a matter of fact. The complexion for the protection. Because if Ralph Bailey gets a 960, I'm not sure I get into Morehouse College. There's a big difference between 960 and 1190, apparently. But you're absolutely right. It's just condescending, and he's just trying to. He knows he's smart enough to know he's got a problem, and that's his elitism. He just doesn't know how to shake it. A couple of months ago, he's crying poor mouth. Now he's saying that he's stupid, just like us. Huh? What? No, not like me, Jack. I beg your pardon, sir. Quick time out. We head into the 5. We'll talk about President Trump when we come back.
This is AM 1180 KERN.
Oh, Lord.
This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield.
I got
online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A huge snowstorm in the Northeast forces millions to stay home, disrupts flights, and closes schools.
The sound of shovels scraping concrete in Brooklyn as New Yorkers like Vince Lisi dig out with up to 2 feet of snow in some areas of the Big Apple.
Just got to take small shovelfuls.
Meanwhile, more than 3 feet of snow in some parts of the Northeast, like Rhode Island, where National Weather Service meteorologist Frank Varela says
there is the expectation that we will see several reports up above 36 inches here before all is said and done.
the bomb cyclone causing power outages, closing schools and airports, downing trees, and creating loads of issues. I'm Julie Walker.
Secret Service agents shot and killed an intruder at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
Early Sunday morning, an armed man drove into the secure perimeter of Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, before being shot and killed. The U.S. Secret Service says the man entered the property with a gas can and a shotgun. When he raised the weapon to a shooting position, the agents and a local sheriff's deputy fired. Although President Trump often spends weekends at his resort, he was at the White House when the incident occurred. Greg Clugston reporting.
British police have arrested Peter Mandelson, a former UK ambassador to the United States, in a misconduct probe stemming from his ties with Jeffrey Epstein. London's Metropolitan Police Force said officers arrested a 72-year-old man on suspicion of misconduct in public office at an address in North London. Police are investigating Mandelson over documents suggesting he passed sensitive government information to Epstein a decade and a half ago. Rough day on Wall Street with the Dow down by 821 points, the S&P lower by 71. More at townhall.com.
The U.S. dollar is under pressure, and some analysts are openly warning about the long-term stability of U.S. currency dominance. Whether you call it currency debasement or the collapse of the dollar, the risk is real. And when confidence in the U.S. dollar shifts, gold and silver historically respond. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 to get your free gold investment kit. You'll also receive a free copy of Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000.
Jane Dawson did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With the money she saved, she got herself a pricey bird feeder with an ultra-high-def camera. Should Jane have just bought a regular bird feeder? Yes. Is it hard for her to admire nature when the camera doubles as the bird's potty? Also, yes. But it's Jane's savings, and if she wants to spend her time watching the digestive habits of the white-breasted nuthatch, we say you go, girl. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
A man found in the street, hit by 2 cars. I'm Chris Davis. This happened last night about 8:20 just north of Truxton Avenue on Baker Street in downtown Bakersfield. Bakersfield PD says they got a call about a man in the street, and when officers got there, they found the man apparently hit by both a Chevy truck and a car, and both drivers stayed and talked to the cops. The man was taken to the hospital where he died. Police determined impairment was not a factor. The man has not yet been ID'd publicly. A man who was killed in a wreck in Kernville Sunday afternoon has been ID'd as 25-year-old Nadim Saman of Bakersfield. The Highway Patrol says they got a call about 2 p.m., and Sadim had been taken to the hospital already. They say he lost control of his motorcycle and crashed on Sierra Way near Cyrus Canyon Road. You may remember the arrest last week of California Army National Guard recruiter Jacob Robles, who was accused of sex with an underage girl. Court documents just made available say the girl is 17. that Robles began messaging her on Instagram and they exchanged nude photos. That has led to a possession of child pornography charge against Robles, in addition to the sex charge, reports KGET. He's pleaded not guilty. He was due back in court March 4th. You may have already heard about several highway and road closures going on, some of them for months because of construction. Now here's a trail that has some partial closures. The city says the Kern River multi-use trail will be closed today through April 19th because of construction on nearby retention basins. That closure will be on the Stockdale Ranch extension about 1 mile north of the main bike path. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Little thing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Monday. A weird Monday. Do me a favor. What's up? Kill the music. Go out that door.
Okay.
Come back in that door.
Okay.
And just report what you saw.
Okay.
Chris Burdick, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be back with us in just a moment. Let me get him on. What I want him to notice is, and did you guys notice this today? Is just out here in our complex, the gnats are out in like full force. I just took a lap around our building, and it's just I literally had to go like this just to walk around our building. I just want to see if Chris observes that as well. It's just weird. And it drives me nuts because I get it in my house. I keep bananas and avocados in my kitchen pretty much 7 days a week. I try to eat 2 or 3 bananas a week and at least 3 or 4 avocados a week. And I don't refrigerate them as some have suggested because I just don't. And I get gnats in my kitchen and it just drives me nuts. And I've ordered this thing that hasn't come yet that's supposed to kill gnats. But okay, what did you observe?
An empty parking lot and Mr. Dizzle walking by me.
That's it?
I mean, besides the gnats flying around.
Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. It's crazy. And what I was explaining to them that I have bananas and avocados at my house 24/7. You can walk in my house right now and find, I think I have 2 avocados left and two bananas left.
Uh-huh.
And when it gets warm, these gnats that are all over our building, our complex, come to my house and chew on my bananas and my avocados. And it drives me nuts. And I don't know how to get rid of them. So I started looking it up and they say that they come through the drain. Is that accurate? Have you heard that?
Yeah, I think that's accurate. To be honest with you, I'm not sure on this one. Gnats have always been weird to me as well.
It drives me nuts.
I just kind of assume they cling on if you have like a pet or a stray animal around the area. But
No,
I have no
I
idea.
get them with. I assume it's the fruit. Maybe it's just me because I'm a slob. I don't know. But do you all have this problem? I'm just wondering.
I never had fruit in my house long enough for it to really get that bad.
I do because I re-up as soon as I'm like right now. I'm tomorrow I will buy more avocados and more bananas. Once I get down to like 2 or 3, I re-up. So I've got either bananas or avocados in my house at all times, but they have skin on them. I don't understand. That's what I tell you. I'm not that bright. I'm really not. I was just thinking about that, just how stupid I am sometimes. Like I was watching Das Boot. You ever seen Das Boot?
I don't think I have.
Great German picture of the 20th century, like the 80s. It's a German. It's a look at World War II through the eyes of a German submarine captain. And I just don't understand submarines. Somebody explain to me how you can make something that heavy float at the top of the water and then go 150 feet deep in the water and then come up and just float on that. I don't get it. I don't get airplanes. Being in a tube going 600 miles an hour, how do you get something that weighs that heavy off the ground? I don't get it. I really don't. Maybe Gavin's right. Not that bright. But I just don't get this gnat thing. I mean, you can't walk outside without going like this. That's why I had him do the lab. I thought, isn't this extraordinary? No?
I mean, again, I've seen a swarm or two the last couple days, but I didn't necessarily notice anything that bad.
I didn't notice. I was out playing golf this weekend. I didn't notice it, but it was windy Saturday when I was out.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't notice them that day.
It's my 54 on the back. 54. I'm almost afraid to play. And I just, and I think part of it is that team thing. Although Chris didn't play well either, you just feel like you're letting your teammate down. Because I think I'm better than the guy that I'm supposed to beat. But he kicked my ass. He had bronchitis and he still beat me. And Alan Corneo is back. Alan's a really good golfer, but he's been in a slump lately. And he played pretty well. I think he had the low score, but none of us broke 90. That's how windy it was. I know everybody, when they're thinking of the weekend, they think of Sunday. It was perfect. Saturday, at least in the Northeast, it was windy as hell. And my problem was my eyes. My eyes water when it's windy, and my nose runs. I don't know what that's about. If that's hay fever, or I don't know. But I struggled mightily. I really did. 842-5376, 842-KERN. So on the eve of the State of the Union is not good for Donald Trump. CNN, I think in connection with the State of the Union, did a poll that they released today, and the president's approval rating is down to 36%, which is below Joe Biden. And if not for that screwy congressional victory for the Democrats in Texas, where a Democrat won by 14 points, in a district that Trump carried a year ago by 17 points, meaning there was a 31-point swing from a year ago. And the most troubling part of the poll is the fact that he has lost support in every demographic that got him in the White House. He's lost black men, which he had at a record level, by like half. He's lost Latinos by half. He was at 44% a year ago with Latinos. He's down to 22. He's lost independents. He was up as high as 38% with independents. That's gargantuan for a Republican. That's what gets you over the top, because you can't win purely on Republican votes. There are more Democrats in North America than there are Republicans. And for him to go from 38 to like in the low 20s in independents, he's not running again, but we're about to have one of the most consequential midterms in history. Dig up that audio of the reporter asking the question about the filibuster. Do you remember that? Do you remember cutting that? Because this is important, because I don't want you to depend on me. What do I know? But this is a White House correspondent. This is the best of the best.
He's asking Trump about this, correct?
He's asking Carolyn Levitt.
Levitt, okay.
Yeah. You got it?
Not yet. Hold on.
Basically, he concedes. He's asking Carolyn Levitt why the Republicans won't get rid of the filibuster, as I have suggested. Here it comes.
You mentioned two things: DHS closed and the SAVE Act IDs. Both of these could get solved in 15 minutes if Senate Leader John Thune simply got rid of this phony 60-vote cloture rule and got 51 votes, and that would be the end of it, because everyone in this room knows if the Democrats take over, they'll get rid of that rule in 90 minutes. They
Thank you.
Tried it one time.
That's good. Because if everybody in this room, and that room is filled with the smartest reporters. If you work for a newspaper, the best reporter at your paper gets the White House assignment. If you work for NBC, like Savannah Guthrie, before she was the host of NBC, she was NBC's White House correspondent. These are the best of the best. And he just told you, everybody in this room, every smart correspondent from their newspapers, from their stations, from wherever they come from, knows that when the Democrats take over, if things continue this way into the midterms, the first thing they're going to do is get rid of the filibuster, get rid of the cloture, get rid of the need to get 60 votes to pass a bill. So they'll need 50 votes and the vice president, or 51 votes if we stay in power. 51 votes, that's all they'll need. And again, I'm just telling you, they're going to pack the court. That's their biggest burr under their saddle. Now, they're a little placated by this most recent judgment by the Supreme Court, which sided against Trump in terms of his tariffs, but they're going to pack the court. They cannot live with a 6-3 majority, which could be at least years, if not decades. 6-3, this thing could stay. Yes, Clarence is old, Sam Alito is old, but this 6-3 majority could hang for a while, particularly if we win back the White House in 28. Then you're going to see pressure on Alito and Clarence to step aside while we're in the White House and can replace them with Republicans. But if not, if somehow Josh Shapiro or J.B. Pritzker, or God forbid, our inept governor ends up in the White House in 29, they're going to pack the court. We'll have 15 jurists. They'll get rid of that 6-3 majority so quickly it'll make your head spin. And I've told you what their second agenda will be, and that is to make Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico a state. Do you know how long they've been talking about making D.C. a state? I was in college and helped Walter Faultroy, who was the representative for D.C., you call a designee because you have no vote. Eleanor Norton is the designee now. You're a member of Congress. She'll be at the State of the Union, but you have no vote. D.C. has no representation, which is crazy. But they've been trying to make it a state since I was in college 40 years ago. So don't think you say, oh, Ralph, they're not going to make D.C. a state. Oh, yes, they are. They'll get 2 Puerto Ricans who will be liberal. They'll get 2 black folks from D.C. who will be liberal. And they'll have an even greater majority with a humongous majority on the Supreme Court. Let me tell you something, Republicans, we have to win the midterms. We have to at least win the Senate. I don't think there's a chance in hell we win the House. And I'll explain, because Tony Gonzalez is in the hot seat. Oh, not that Tony Gonzalez, Representative Tony Gonzalez down in Texas way, who had an affair with a staffer. She ended up dead. And there's an old phrase in politics. I didn't make this up. It's an old cliche. There are 2 things you don't want to get caught. You don't want to get caught in bed with a live man or a dead woman. And when you fill that power vacuum and have an affair with somebody beneath you and something bad happens to them, it highlights the issue. And now Lauren Boebert, who's on Bill Maher this weekend, you know what? She's smarter than I thought. She really is. I'm not trying to be facetious. She really is. She was good on Bill Maher. But she's calling for Gonzalez to quit. Now, that shows that she's not as smart as I think she is, because that's idiotic. Although I understand there's a challenger that could take him out and it would still win that seat. But we can't afford to lose another House seat. You know, with Marjorie Taylor Greene, with those 3 vacancies, the majority in the House is down to 1. It's 218 to 214. So I'm just saying this midterm is consequential, and your boy is screwing the pooch. And he's going to go on tomorrow night and say it's the greatest economy we've ever had. And that's just not the approach. It's just not. I was in college when Ronald Reagan got elected. And if you remember, my fellow old folk, Reagan got off to a horrendous start. David, whatever his name is, remember his economic advisor that told him to make the cuts and send so many of my friends from Morehouse College home because one of the first cuts was to historically black colleges. Their economy was in the dump, in the total dump. And Reagan approached it like this. We're going to stay the course. I feel your pain, but we're going to stay the course, and everything is trending up, and you're going to feel it. And that really is the truth, because there are going to be tax benefits you're going to see kick in here from the big, beautiful bill. Consumer spending, as Kathy talked about at 4 o'clock hour, is booming. The stock market is making records. But the way the country feels, you can't go on and say this is the greatest economy in the history of the United States. Things cost more, and that's part and due to his tariffs. It's going to be interesting how he spins this. But if he goes out there tomorrow night and says this is the greatest economy in the history of the United States, we're in deep doo-doo. Deep, deep trouble. Like Mariana's Trench trouble. He's polling lower than Joe Biden after 1 year. That ain't good. And like I said, they're voting in Texas right now for their primary. Ours is in June. And the midterms are what? February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, 8-9 months away. Something's got to change, y'all. Something's got to change. Or there are going to be 15 jurists and 104 senators. Just saying. Quick timeout. We'll come back, check the board once again, get into the bottom of the hour. I got some audio I want to play. Lindsey Vaughn explaining her medical condition. And a way back when Pat Riley, he was awarded with a statue finally in front of Staples, Crypto, the Forum, whatever the hell it is downtown. Pat was in town with the 80s Lakers team. Just imagine what it would have been like had it not been for Magic and Kareem and Worthy and all those fellas. Do you realize I was thinking about this when I was watching Riles? The Celtics would have gone on like a 1960s run when they won like 8 straight and 11 out of 13 under Bill Russell. If Magic's not there to stop Bird, the Celtics would have won probably every championship in the 80s. Quick timeout. We're coming right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN. We stream live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and
Casey.
Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Tuesday edition of the First Look program, we'll talk snowpack and other water-related issues. That's Lois Henry. We got the craziness down Mexico way and a killer storm in the Northeast. There's a lot going on. We'll get into all that news, traffic, and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Do you have an event coming up and you need a locale? Have you tried the Stockyard? Cassie Biddle, owner-operator of KC Steakhouse, her speakeasy-like bar right next door. Well, it's more than just a bar. You can have dinner in there, enjoy some craft cocktails, but she's got a beautiful banquet room that I know that Kathy Abernathy uses for election night parties. You can use it for meetings, luncheon meetings, whatever the situation is. It is a beautiful banquet room. If you haven't seen it, I strongly suggest next time you're at Casey's Steakhouse, just walk over next door and have a cocktail. One of their beautiful craft cocktails that come literally in a bathtub, hence the speakeasy-like format. And there's a buzzer that you have to ring in to get in. But it's a wonderful venue. And again, it's a great place to hold events. And they have live music on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturday nights. And of course, Jimmy and Bobby are playing Tuesday through Saturday in the main restaurant. Where would you rather be than on F Street? In the capable hands of Cassie Biddle's incredible staff at KC Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation.
Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey.
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, may I ask a few questions?
Yeah, of course.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, we have a dog.
Great. Do you have a pool outside?
Nope, just a big old backyard.
Nice. Another question. Are there any unlocked guns in the home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, let's just talk about what we can bring for dessert.
Learn how to have the conversation at
That's the dumbest commercial I've ever heard. That you would ask your neighbor, do they have guns? You wouldn't even ask your neighbor if they have a dog. That was the dumbest commercial I've ever heard.
Even when Paul in person wasn't there, because there's Christine, Kelly, and Lynn. The grandkids like to play, Where's Waldo? Granddad's asking, hey, where'd Paul go? Just games that are fun to win. But when push comes to shove and the day is done, we know it's covered, so it's all in fun. Because there's Christine, Kelly, and Lynn. Over the years, so many have said it. The guy's a genius. Gotta give the man credit. He put it together way back then. Brought along those 3 Medicare pros, who of course by now everyone knows are Christine, Kelly, and Lynn.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Well, I got a second. I got a couple of minutes. This is rather long, but I want you to hear this. This is Lindsey Vonn, who is back on American soil after having at least 3 operations in Milan or in Italy. And she's still not out of the woods, but here she is from her hospital bed, I believe in Colorado, explaining her medical situation. Again, this is a little bit long, but you want to hear this.
Well, guys, after 2 weeks, I finally made it out of the hospital. It has been quite the journey and by far the most extreme and painful and challenging injury I've ever faced in my entire life times 100. I'll give you the full rundown. Basically, I had a complex tibia fracture. Also fractured my fibular head, my tibial plateau, just kind of everything was in pieces. And the reason why it was so complex was because I had compartment syndrome. And compartment syndrome is when you have so much trauma to one area of your body that there's too much blood and it gets stuck. And it basically crushes everything in the compartment. So all the muscle and nerves and tendons, it all kind of dies. And Dr. Tom Hackett saved my leg. He saved my leg from being amputated. He did what's called a fasciotomy, where he cut open like both sides of my leg, kind of filleted it open, so to speak. Let it breathe, and he saved me. And, you know, I always talk about everything happens for a reason, but if I hadn't torn my ACL, which I would have torn anyways with this crash, if I hadn't done that, Tom wouldn't have been there. He wouldn't have been able to save my leg. So I feel very lucky and grateful for him. For the 6-hour surgery he put in on Wednesday to rebuild it, which went amazingly well, but I was in the hospital a little longer than I had hoped because I had a very low hemoglobin from all the blood loss of all the surgeries. I was really struggling. Pain was a little bit out of control, and I had a blood transfusion, and that helped me a lot. I turned the corner, and now I am out.
All right, that's enough. That's enough. So it's just a miracle. Did you understand what she was saying? Her doctor went to Milan with her because she tore her ACL. Had he not been there, he could not have operated on her for 6 hours. It'd have been some Italian doctor. And I'm betting he didn't have the skills, or she didn't have the skills that this guy did, and he saved her leg. If she doesn't tear her ACL, maybe she doesn't fall and break literally both bones in her leg, but just a miraculous. And she had to get a blood transfusion. Wow, that is a badass woman. Last half hour of the broadcast. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A partisan battle to redraw U.S. House districts is raging in some states even as campaigns get underway. Final boundaries for congressional voting districts remain uncertain in Missouri, New York, and Virginia. Governors in Florida and Maryland are pushing lawmakers to reshape House districts ahead of this year's election. A massive snowstorm is pummeling the northeastern United States, forcing millions of people to stay home amid strong wind and blizzard warnings, transportation shutdowns, and school and business closures. Officials have declared emergencies from Delaware to Massachusetts. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 821 points. The S&P 500 declined 71. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
The man died at the hospital last night after he was hit by a truck and a car on Baker Street downtown. Bakersfield PD says that happened about 8:20. They have not publicly ID'd the man yet, and they do not believe anyone involved was impaired. The Army National Guard recruiter in trouble for sex with an underage girl exchanged nudes on Instagram with her, say court documents released Monday, reports KGET. Jacob Robles has pleaded not guilty and is due back in court March 4th. The city of Bakersfield says the Kern River multi-use trail will be closed from today through April 19th due to construction on nearby retention basins. The closure will be on the Stockdale Ranch extension. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Are you looking for a one-of-a-kind way to honor your team or commemorate a special event? Look no further than Martinez Challenge Coins and More, the premier challenge coins and specialty metals company in Bakersfield. With years of experience and a commitment to quality, Martinez creates custom challenge coins that are truly exceptional. Whether you need coins for your military unit, law enforcement agency, or corporate team, they have you covered. Their expert team will work closely with you to design a coin that reflects your unique vision. From intricate artwork to personalized details, Martinez ensures that every coin is a true work of art.
Hi, I'm Ray Martinez, owner and founder of the company. So don't settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary.
Contact Martinez Challenge Coins and More today and let them bring your vision to life. Visit their website at martinez-martinezllc.com or call 661-304-9589. Martinez Challenge Coins and More, where excellence meets craftsmanship.
Coming up on the Tuesday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, a little bit of a jolt in the markets after some tariff uncertainty thanks to the Supreme Court. What's going to happen there? How is Trump going to steady the ship? Plus, gunmen wreaking havoc in Mexico after a cartel boss was killed. Are we on the early phases here of a cartel war? We'll talk about it coming up on Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show. Live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
One of my favorite Stevie songs from the 60s. Song. Room for everyone. We'll get to our Black History Month moment in just a second. We'll talk about Blake Bolden, the first African-American hockey player. She is currently working for the Los Angeles Kings. She's the first female scout in the NHL. I'll introduce you to her because she's broken all kind of barriers. And you just don't see that very much. Although you're seeing more African Americans playing hockey these days, both in Canada and here in the United States. But I did want to get to Pat Riley, who finally got a statue in front of Crypto Stadium or Staples, whatever you want to call it. And it is long overdue. Shaq has a statue. Like, really? Who's more important in the grand scheme of Laker lore, Pat Riley or Shaquille O'Neal, who Jerry Buss shipped off to Miami because he was just obnoxious, to be honest with you. He's changed quite a bit. Shaq was obnoxious when he was a player. And the reason one of the reasons that Buss did not re-sign him is because during the preseason, he was running up and down the court and bullying guys and screaming at Buss, "You better pay me. You better pay me." And you can't do that with people like Jerry Buss. They just don't react to that well. And they shipped him off to Miami, where he went down and won another championship, but he was never the same. And he had all these nice things to say about Pat Riley. But Chris should know this. They didn't get along. Nope. Riley did not like Shaq. Nope. Thought he was fat and lazy, and he did lose the weight. But you've heard about the famous fight.
Oh, yeah.
Where
Lonzo, right?
Lonzo Mourning had to get in between them because Riley was like, "Come on." I love that about Riley.
Nobody.
I mean, that's stupid, Pat. And because you know how old Pat Riley is? Take a shot.
He's, oh God, I just looked at this. 73?
80.
He's in his 80s?
He's 80. He's 80 years old, which means what? 15 years ago, he was probably what? My age? And he's fighting Shaq? I'm just talking about age. I'm not talking about the fact that Shaq is 7 foot, 310 pounds.
The 65-year-old man.
And Pat Riley's 65 years old and 6'1", $190.
Gotta respect it.
But he raised his hands, and Alonzo Mourning had to get in and basically tackle Shaq, and they sent him out of practice, and he was off to, don't tell me, Cleveland, Boston, or Arizona. I think it was Cleveland.
No, I think it was Phoenix first.
Oh, it was Phoenix first.
I think it was Phoenix first, then
Cleveland, then Boston. And then someplace else at the end.
He ended up in Boston for a while at the end.
Yeah, I think he ended up with Phoenix at the end.
Again, he might have been, yeah.
But
I had to double check again. But I'm pretty sure it was Phoenix after.
But they didn't get along. And it was funny. He did it via, because he's in Milan, he did it via, the television or whatever the hell it is. But they didn't get along. But here, this will take you back for my fellow old folks. Here is one of the funniest moments Pat Riley ever had with the Lakers.
I feel grateful to be part of the team. I feel grateful to be alive and living in Los Angeles. And I'm guaranteeing everybody here, next year, we're going to win it again. Now you know I'm really crazy.
Well, would you like to
he wasn't that crazy, because that was after the 87 season when we beat Larry Bird and the damn Celtics, and we did it again in 88. We went back-to-back that year. And that's when Riley came up with the term three-peat. You do know that belongs to him. He actually had it, what's the term? Don't tell me, Chris. He had it patented. So if you use the term three-peat on a T-shirt, Pat Riley's getting a little percentage of that because he patented it. He owns that phrase. And it's a really common phrase that he started in the 80s. And the audio doesn't do it justice. The video, he's young, he's got black hair, he's got cool sunglasses on, he's chilly Pat Riley. Now he's got white hair, and he's 80 years old. He still looks great with the Armani suits and the slick back hair, but now the hair is white, and he's 80 as opposed to what? He was looked my age, but he looked like he was 40. And you don't see him, obviously it's radio. He says that, and he turns and looks at his players. And then after they went back to back, he's being interviewed by Brent Musburger in the locker room. And he says, well, your prediction came true, Pat. You have any other predictions? And Kareem comes behind him with a towel and puts it over his mouth. And it's pretty funny. Like, don't put that on us and we're going to three-peat. Don't do that. But that's pretty ballsy to stand up in front of a crowd of Laker fans and say, we're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. I wish Dave Robertson said that this year. So we're going to three-peat. Put that pressure. I think pressure is a good thing, particularly for high-skilled athletes. That's been my experience, that superior athletes enjoy being coached. You know what I'm saying? I think one of the biggest deficits I had as an athlete, I wasn't really coached. Like, I played basketball without a jump shot. Like, why didn't a coach stop me? Because I had a pretty good set shot. I really did. If I was wide open, I was going to hit it. But if I had a guard on me, I couldn't throw a pea in the ocean. Why didn't somebody stop me and teach me the techniques of a jump shot? I would shoot my jumper was like my free throws. I was on my tippy toes, and I would just flick it. I didn't have a jump shot, where a jump shot is where you jump and you let the ball go at the apex of your jump. I didn't shoot like that. I shot like this, just from my toes. Nobody stopped and said, Ralph, this is how you shoot a jump shot. My biggest weakness in baseball, couldn't hit a curveball. Why didn't Bridges stay here for a half an hour? Let me throw you nothing but curveballs. I think good athletes want to be coached, want to be taken hard. And Riley was one of those guys. Magic told the story this weekend. He said after the, and I'm talking to old people now. I'm not talking to Chris Burdick because he wasn't even alive, I don't think. I didn't know you weren't alive. No. But it's the first game of the 7-game series with the Celtics in a series that we'd eventually win. But in game 1, they blew us out by 43 points. Y'all remember the massacre on Memorial Day. They beat us by 43 points. And somebody was asking Magic, how tough was Riley on you guys? And he said, well, the first training camp we had, Pat said, don't bring the balls in. And the players were like, what? He said, we're just going to run. We're just going to run. We're going to be the best conditioned team in basketball. And he said the hardest he was on us was after the Memorial Day massacre, where he said Riley spent 20 minutes talking about each player. And Belichick used to do this. What's his name? What's the little short receiver? Edelman, yeah. He talks about that, how Belichick would do that. He'd spend 10 minutes on each player rewinding the tape of you dropping the ball. And he said that's what Riley did. And they ended up winning that series, as a matter of fact. And he's just a much bigger. My point is, I'm going a long way to make a point, but my point is, for Jeannie Buss to give Shaq a statue before Pat Riley just goes to show you what a knucklehead she is. And she's a smart girl, don't get me wrong. I like Jeannie Buss, but Riley was one of the big keys. Let me put it this way. I believe personally that Riley was as important as Kareem, which is saying a lot, or Magic, or Coop, or Byron Scott, or Worthy, or any of the guys. And the one thing I like about that winning dynasty series, that docudrama about the Lakers, it's horrible because it portrays people way out of their character. They make Jerry West look like a lunatic. They made Spencer Haywood look like a heroin addict. And he had a drug problem, but he wasn't as strung out as they made it look. And they made Kareem look like a jerk. And yeah, he was kind of a jerk. He was kind of aloof. But it just they hyped it up. But they accurately chronicled that whole transition. Because if you remember, Riley was Chick Hearn's sidekick, which Riley had to beg to get that gig because Chick Hearn didn't think he was very good at it. So he gets that gig, and then we get Jack, I can't remember his last name, as the head coach. He's living up where my parents live in Palos Verdes, or my parents lived. And if you know Palos Verdes, it's extremely hilly. He's coming down one of the typical PV hills on a bicycle and somersaults right before the season starts. So they bring in Paul Westhead, and Pat Riley comes off of the radio and television to join Paul Westhead. They win the championship that year. That was Magic's rookie year. Westhead takes over. Magic hates it. And you got to placate your star because Westhead wanted to bring the ball up slow, get it into Kareem double, kick it out, but about a bit, but a boop. And you know what Magic wanted to do? Magic wanted to run. And Magic basically says, it's me or him. And Bus was no dummy. And all of a sudden, they roll the dice because they wanted Jerry West to do it. Bus wanted West. And this is chronicled in this ridiculous docudrama. That's the only thing I liked about it. They got that part right, that whole transition, where Bus begged Jerry West to coach the club, which he did for a little while before Riley. But he said, I can't do it. Because West was an emotional freak. He literally could not watch the fourth quarter. He would go and wait and find out. He was just that nervous, a wreck at that point of his career. And it's just a great rise. It's a great story, Pat Riley's rise from being the sixth man on our first championship team in 71-72, which is weird because he was playing against the Knicks, and the Knicks sixth man was whom, Chris Burdick? See if you can use some logic into what I'm trying to say. Pat Riley was the sixth man on the Lakers team.
And Phil Jackson was the sixth man.
There you go.
The Knicks, yeah.
Phil Jackson was the sixth man on the Knicks. And they both played against each other, and they beat us in 70. The Knicks did. And then we beat them in 71-72. That was that 33 game in a row team, Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain team, where Riley was the sixth man coming off the bench. And then the Knicks won it again the next year in 72-73. And that's the last time they've sniffed an NBA championship, literally. 73. Can you imagine being a Knicks fan? They haven't won a championship since 1973 when I was, 11, 10? You know what I'm saying? But I just thought it was appropriate, finally, at the age of 80. I'm glad they did it before he died, to put a statue. And it's a cool statue. Have you seen it? Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah.
With his hand. And they say, I didn't know this, I learned this over the weekend, that he would do that a lot. That's the pose of the statue. And did you hear this? What this means? Apparently, that was the signal of Magic to get it to Kareem. I didn't know that. And he did that a lot. I thought that was just his thing. But no, that meant, would you get it to the big fella? Just lob it into the big fella, let him turn right and swing left and throw it in the basket. You know what I'm saying? Particularly in the mid-'80s, not so much at the end of the 88, 89 when he was bald. Here's how you know if Kareem was in his prime. If he's got hair. If you see Kareem and he's bald, that was at the end. When, as Magic talked about this weekend, Riley went to Magic after the 87 season and said, I need you to score more. And Magic said, well, that means I'm going to have to shoot more. And Riley was like, yeah. And Magic was like, well, have you discussed this with Cap, with Kareem? And he said, yeah, actually I did. And he's on board. Kareem was not as aloof as they say. He was a pretty good teammate. He really was. But Magic said everything went through Cap. Everything. In fact, there's a famous scene in that stupid docudrama where they're voting on Spencer Haywood really did have a drug problem. And they're voting on whether or not he should stay because he showed up high as a kite on heroin. And so the players had a meeting And Kareem wanted Spencer Haywood to stay, but the team voted to have him kicked off the team. And Kareem told Spencer Haywood it was my call. When in fact, he was against kicking him off the team, but he was the captain, he was the leader, he was going to take the brunt. He didn't want it on Magic or the other guys. And he lied to Spencer Haywood and said it was my call. Because he was like, what did they do? How could Magic do this to me? What these bunch of he was cursed him out, and Kareem was like, stop. Dude, you know I love you, but it was my call. He's a good guy. It was hard to see Cap, though, this weekend, because he's really frail and can barely walk. But he was the ball club, and I believe, I'm sorry, Michael Jordan is the most talented basketball player I have ever seen in my life, but Kareem was the most dominant player I've ever seen, because he'd swing right and turn left, and there was nobody stopping that man. Nobody. Other than Wilt. Wilt blocked his shot a couple times, but other than that, nobody stopped Kareem. Quick timeout. We'll wrap this thing up. Tomorrow's a Tuesday. Our former federal magistrate Judge Teresa Golder joins us. Then later in the week, Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco, gubernatorial candidate and overall good egg, joins TRBS right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN, where we stream live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Our next Armstrong and Getty show, Major American Hospital says no more sex changes for kids. Plus, woke AI companies who don't want the Pentagon to use their stuff to kill anyone. What?
And all kinds of hormone replacement therapy for men and women is making us much different beasts in our 60s than people used to be. It's kind of interesting.
Oh, God dang it. I still have time, I guess, to do my Black History Month deal.
Yeah, you're going to like 5 minutes. Can you get it in 5 minutes?
Yeah.
You're ready when I'm sorry, I'm ready whenever you are.
Shit. All right, what did I do? I know. 3, 2. So Mr. Elite, our inept governor, is once again trying to play the everyman. He was down in Atlanta talking about his inept SAT scores, saying, I'm just like you. And I was like, what did you just say? Because I'm not like you. I got 1190 on the SAT. My sister got a 1300. Black folks achieve. And I'm sorry, your elitism. Jesus Christ. I got to get some sleep, man. I can't do this. Oh, God, I'm so bad when I have not had sleep. Let me do it at the end of the show. I can't think right now.
Exaggerating because these guys are a handful, to say the least. You can find us at 9425 Rosedale Highway or 6801 White Lane. Or if you want, you can go to saltysbbq.com and order online. Salty's Barbecue and Catering. California Grill, Texas approved. Oh, it's good.
This month, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson
and the Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
We wrap up the show with our Black History Month moment of the day, and today we focus on hockey player Blake Alexis Bolden. She was born March 10th, 1991. She's an American former ice hockey player and scout for the Los Angeles Kings. On October 11, 2015, she became the first African-American player to compete in the National Women's Hockey League. It's been rebranded to Premier Hockey League in 2021. She won the 2015 Clarkson Cup with the Boston Blades of the Canadian Women's Hockey League. And in 2016, she won the Isabel Cup with the Boston Pride of the NWHL. She's also a contributor and ringside reporter for the Entertainment Sports Programming Network, better known as ESPN. She was raised in Stowe, Ohio, and began following the Cleveland Lumberjacks of the International Hockey League. Her dad worked for the team and facilitated her meeting many of the players. She attended Northwood School, known for its top ice hockey programs, in Lake Placid, New York, where she captained the team during her senior year and played with Kelly Stedman. She attended Boston College, where she played for the Boston College Eagles women's hockey team from 2009 to 2013. And currently, as I mentioned, is one of the few female scouts in the NHL. Post-retirement in February 2020, she was hired by the Kings, the first woman of color to ever scout in professional men's hockey, and just the second ever female to scout in the NHL. Her broadcasting career includes Canadian NHL broadcast rights holder Rogers Communication, who announced that it had struck a deal to shift a portion of its rights, specifically the Monday night games played in Canada, from its own NHL on Sportsnet broadcast to Amazon Prime Video for the 24, 25, 25, 26 regular seasons. And in September, it was announced that Bolden would provide pregame intermissions and postgame analysis on Prime Monday Night Hockey, which launched in October of 2024. Blake Bolden, a trendsetter, trendsetter in the African American community, and a woman that I had never heard of. What do you got on the board? Let's get out of here, man. I got to go to bed.
Who is your Lakers Mount Rushmore?
Ooh, that's a good question. I start with Kareem and Magic, and then it gets tough because I'm old school. I got it. It's impossible not to have Jerry West. He carried us through the 60s. This is where it gets hard, that fourth phase, because it could be Shaq, it could be Worthy, it could be a lot of guys, but it's got to be Kobe. It's got to be Kobe. So that's my four. Jerry West, Kobe, Magic, and Kareem. Leaving off Shaq, leaving off George Mikan in Minnesota, leaving off Elgin Baylor, who, if you never saw him play, was the first Michael Jordan, was doing things in the 60s that nobody had seen before, but it was just him and Jerry. And the Celtics would beat us. I think they beat us 6 straight years. And that's why I said at the top of the show, had it not been for Magic and Kareem and Worthy, the Celtics would have gone on a 60s-like run through the 80s. Because we won it in 81, they won it in 82. I forget who won it. The Sixers won it in 83. Then they win in 84. They beat us in 84. We beat them in 85. The Celtics win it in 86. We win it in 87 and 88, beating the Celtics. So if we're not there, the Celtics would have ran through the league with McHale and Bird, and then they brought in Walton in 86. That 86 team is one of the best Celtics teams I've ever seen, with Danny Ainge and DJ and Bill Walton coming off the bench. Bill Walton is one of the most underrated basketball players in the history because of his injuries. But if you're as old as I am, you remember at UCLA when in the finals against North Carolina, he was 22 of 24. He went on a Phil Simms-like rant, missed 2 shots out of 24. And that was back in the day when you could not dunk because of Lou Alcindor, better known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They literally changed the collegiate rule because of Lou Alcindor. I got to get out of here. For Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. I will rap to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
It's going to be expensive. Going to Coconut Joe's.
$18.
I don't think it's that much. 14. Wow.
Oh,
feels like a break.
So I made the point, I know you're going to do your promo right now, but I didn't get to say this during the show. I made the point this morning on Early Bird that without Pat Riley, you may not have gotten Shaq and Kobe and everything else with Phil Jackson and all that in the Lakers fandom. Do you believe that too?
Yeah, yeah. Although
Does Phil have a statue already?
I don't think so.
I didn't think so either. Sparky had asked me that, and I was like, I don't think he did. Although you would assume if there was one coach outside of Phil or Pat that would get it.
There are
Phil.
7. So let's count them. Kobe,
Shaq, Magic, Kareem. Worthy?
No. Jerry, West.
Jerry, you're right.
Elgin Baylor.
Yep.
And who's the 7th? Mikan? I don't know. Look it up while I do this. 3, 2. I was offended by Gavin Newsom's allusion to his poor SAT scores, particularly in front of a black crowd where he's trying to shake his elitism and play the everyman, where he said, I'm just like you. No, you're not, sir. I didn't get any 960 on the SAT. I got 1190, and I got one of the worst math scores at my high school. And my sister got a 1300. Black folks are not like you, sir. Stupid.
Chick Hearn.
Oh, Chick, of course. Damn. I should have known that.
Baylor, Bryant, Chick, Magic, Shaq, Jerry, Kareem, and Pat Riley. Now.
Yeah, I should have known that. Did you get that?
Yeah.
You record that? 3, you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Tuesday TRBS. Well, it's a Tuesday. Our former federal magistrate Judge Teresa Golden will be here, and we'll obviously preview a very, very long State of the Union. All that, me at 3. It's TRBS, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN. I'll see you at 3.
Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Most American retirement accounts are dramatically underallocated to precious metals, even as central banks continue buying gold at record levels. Many Americans are rolling over a portion of their retirement savings into physical gold and silver, tax and penalty-free with Advantage Gold. Call Advantage Gold now at 800-900-8000. Results vary. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
A man found in the street, hit by 2 cars. I'm Chris Davis.
See you guys.
This happened last night about 8:20 just north of Truxton Avenue on Baker Street in downtown Bakersfield. Bakersfield PD says they got a call about a man in the street, and when officers got there, they found the man apparently hit by both a Chevy truck and a car.